Oh, yeah.
Hey!
We're here.
It faded way too fast. That all reset. We gotta fix that. Yep, that all got screwed up with the studio. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 27 of Tabletop Notch and a Peek Beneath the Veil. Does anybody have any notes, thoughts, questions?
No, but shout out to Comrade Tortel again for being such a lovely person. Thank you. I don't understand what the holiday reward thing is anymore.
What is it? But thank you for it.
Enjoy. Everybody spam. What is it? It's probably like Pog
It's a
Santa or something.
Santa haha point.
Yeah, Twitch is doing like a holiday sub-promo thing.
So type those in chat if that's your thing.
Good lord, I feel like I get daily emails
It doesn't
from
work.
them.
Famous migrated user, Santa Claus.
I don't know if y'all have checked out the new creator dashboard, but that was enough for me to quit out of Twitch the other day. So thank you.
We can say this 2 weeks in advance. We will not. We do not have a stream on the 22nd.
Happy Hanukkah.
We have a stream next week.
Yes.
Yes.
Stream next
We will be here
Cool.
next
We'll be here next week.
Cool.
Then we'll be a week off. Everybody enjoy your holidays. We'll say happy everything.
And then
We'll
29.
return on the 29th. Yeah.
Brilliant. Love it.
Great. Is everybody ready to hop in?
Yeah. I guess.
That 15 minutes that passed in the last episode.
Oh my
It was more
god.
like 2 hours or something.
Like 0 minutes.
Bonkers.
It's more like 0 minutes.
All right, let's roll that intro and we'll dive
Roll
right in.
it.
All right, we're back.
Hey.
In chapter 26, to each their own.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beezaura fled the scene of the fire at Micah Denholm's house to find a frustrated gravekeeper Yannick heading back towards the north end of town. Unable to secure an audience with the director of reserves, Yannick was exploring other options for tracking down the source of the miasma and invited the party to accompany him later in the evening to make his case again to the local authorities. Safira took a short trip outside the city limits after meeting an animal trainer who'd recently adopted an abandoned litter of wolves. One of his pack was proving particularly difficult to train, and when Safira asked to take a look, the creature used some kind of magic to flee, forcing Safira and the trainer to track it to a nearby thicket. Erland remained at the home of Vaclav Foyle, who had not yet regained consciousness, and a quiet conversation with his wife Nadoya was interrupted by a knocking at the door. Erland hid and overheard the new arrivals offer to bring Vaclav to the Natural Studies Institute for further examination. Nadoya hesitantly agreed, and the group departed, but one mutated humanoid stayed behind after sensing Erland's presence, which spurred him to make a hasty and violent escape. Orba, down by the town square, had a change of heart and hurried back to the New Kelkian church to consult the god of death on how to fight back against a powerful deity such as Kauzni. She did not get the assistance that she was looking for, but a young elven spirit that she recognized from days prior appeared to give her some perplexing counsel in these matters. Feeling unsure of who to trust, Orba made her way north and joined up with Erland, who was attempting to locate Vaclav and his captors. Beezaura went to the graveyard to speak once more with Yannick, and the two of them bonded as they wondered if the rest of the party had run into trouble given their tardiness. Little did they know that Graven had been wrestling with his own mind as Kauzni sent him into a dream state to demonstrate his power and coax him back into an alliance that they once had. The voice of Lady Sangrala, however, was able to penetrate the dream and bring Graven back to reality, where the item she'd bestowed upon him was resting in his hands, a stone that proved to be some kind of delivery device for a stored message. With the party posted at various spots in and out of the city, it was hard to speculate when and where we might cross paths again before the day was done. What was in store for Vaclav and the Natural Studies Institute? Had Safira gotten the trainer Teo into a situation he was not equipped to handle? And when Graven arrives late to the graveyard, will Beezaura accept his excuse that he was busy paralyzing her in his sleep?
Ooh.
We find out now on chapter 27 of A Peek Beneath the Veil.
That was good. Clever.
He does get those ready beforehand. You know?
I know, but I don't hear
Those
it.
questions off the cuff.
I hear it for the first time.
There's a buzzing noise,
No.
Oh my god.
and the world around Safira seems to twist and contort. And her peripheral vision seems to close in on a particular point before her eyes, as if she was squeezing through the eye of a needle. A sudden rush as you feel propelled forward with tremendous speed, and the sight of a giant wasp-striped abdomen quickly fills your field of view, and at the last second you close your eyes and hear a soft squishing sound, followed by intermittent buzzing. And you open your eyes, and clarity is returned, but you feel low to the ground. And you go to speak, and nothing comes out except a low growl. And beneath you are a pair of furry silver-gray paws
What?
that you wriggle instinctually to confirm what you already know, that you've taken the wolf's form.
Yeah.
Hey.
We'll jump back into battle. You are the wolf. You had just hit with the arrow, and now as in wolf form, you can immediately take a reaction to make a bite attack,
Okay, I would like to do that.
which you can do. So go ahead and roll to hit. So you do have the thing with the wolf stats.
Yes, I do.
So it tells you what your plus to hit and everything is with
Yes,
that
it
attack.
does, yeah. 14.
14 hits. Roll for damage.
Yeah, here we go.
2d6 plus 3. Okay, what's d6 again?
Rego die.
Rego. Oh, right.
Tradition.
Yeah.
Square pyramid.
Oh!
Bunch of squares.
12.
12.
2?
No, plus 3.
Oh, plus 2. Great.
That's really great. So you go and you sink and you feel the teeth sink into the body of the wasp, and it kind of keeps trying to. When you pull it kind of down low to the ground, and you tear a chunk out of it as it kind of like flitters and limps around. You are now in Wolfo Formo.
That.
Muddy wolf and
What was it? The total is 12 on that?
Yes.
So it kind of limps in the air a little bit, and then it kind of splatters onto the ground.
Hey.
I was about
Quick.
to say, if a wasp has more hit points than me, I'm gonna be really mad.
Big
Giant wasp.
Big boy.
Yeah.
It's
giant.
bigger.
It's a big one.
Exoskeleton. Come on.
You still have movement.
Yeah, so,
It's like a light armor.
I want to run over to.
So this is Teo here, yeah.
Stand right over Teo, so
Great.
that I can kind of guard him. 'cause
So
I
you
tried-
run.
I
So
knocked
you
him
still
to the ground, so
start to
he's-
run towards him, and he's kind of holding up his hands and fighting off the wasp.
made him
And he
prone.
turns and he kind of sees the wolf coming, and he
Yeah.
looks for a second. He looks a little scared, but then you see this kind of recognition wash over him as he sees Taboo, the wolf that he recognizes, and he
Yeah.
kind of sees it. And he goes back to protecting himself against the wasps. Do you want to put yourself like next to the?
I want to put myself between him and anything.
It's kind of up next to him, so that's yeah. Great. Great. So Teo is going to. He had like a blade that he had in a back strap that he pulled out. And he is going to take a swipe at the other wasp. They look like giant ants, but don't worry, they're wasps. There was a giant wasp thing, but it was humongous. It was like this thing, and I was like, wasp.
Too giant.
Cut him in half.
It's too giant of a
Take it
wasp.
down a notch.
So he takes it out and
my
he makes a
moderate
cut, and it
giant.
hits.
Nice.
And he deals 4
Teo.
slashing damage.
Hang in there, buddy.
So he kind of cuts, and one of the a piece of the abdomen kind of slices off and goes flying off, and that's it. He's gonna stay there. The wasps are up. Great. So the first one, seeing the wolf kind of grasp his ally that he recognizes. He's going to go in for a sting, the giant wasp. 12 to hit.
12 misses.
12 misses, so it goes in for a sting and you kind of slide across with your paws. And these ones are smaller. They're like a swarm of wasps. This one's going to go for Teo. This one's going to go for you, the wolf. We'll do the Teo one first. 12 to hit, that hits. So the wasp, there's like a swarm of, they're not as big, they're not like normal wasp size, but they're not enormous. And they kind of come in, and he's swatting away at them, and a few of them manage to get some stings in on his hands.
Oh no!
That face was not a good
Takes
face.
6 damage. So they kind of pelt him with a number of small stings, and you can see the stingers kind of come out, and as they do these, there's little spurts of blood that come out across his arms as he's kind of pushing them away. He's still up, and then the other one's gonna attack you. 14 to hit.
14 hits.
14 hits. You take 5 piercing damage as you feel sort of on the backside in your rump. You feel a number of like small stings.
Right on the rump. Okay.
Right on the rump. We're back up to Safira.
Is there? I know there might not be any benefit to me doing this, but seeing the wasp that attacks Teo.
The swarm or the big one?
The swarm.
Yep.
Can I like growl at it somehow? Can I like try to scare it?
Make an intimidation check.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a big like just as that's the worst
wow.
part.
That's good.
No, that's pretty good.
Well,
It
it
snarl.
sounded like it had bronchitis, but other than that.
It's an adolescent wolf. It's not full
Well,
grown.
I don't know what the
Intimidation.
would it
So
change?
intimidation is charisma based, which is your charisma's the same. Only your
okay.
strength, dexterity, and
Okay,
constitution
okay.
change.
Okay.
Charisma's at the top.
All right.
It would be the same for you because
It's
you're
16.
16. Great. So you let out kind of a low growl, and immediately the small ones kind of are flitting around and they don't seem to react. But the big one, kind of seeing that, he sort of hears the noise and he flies up like a little bit higher, sort of to get out of the way a little bit. And it seems like it's kind of retreating back a little bit.
Okay, so seeing that scared it, I'm gonna go out of my way to attack this one. This is a big one.
This
right?
is the big one.
These
are
I
two
wanna
little
attack
swarms.
the big one.
Great. Yep. Make an attack.
And I want to do it as loudly and viciously as I possibly
Great.
can.
Do so, and you have. I forget what the feature's called, but an ally's within 5 feet of that
Yes.
creature. Pack tactics or something, so you get
Yes.
advantage on this attack.
Whoa!
Good, thank God, because I need
What?
11 to hit.
11 misses. Great, so you go in for a bite and the jaws clamp down onto air. Anything else that you'd like to do?
Am I big enough that I can like physically get my wolf body over Teo?
No. In fact, yeah, I mean, you're not a full-grown wolf, and even if you were, that would be, he'd have to be down on the ground. Just,
Okay. So no, other than just kind of growling. No, nothing. Yeah.
Great. So that was the second round that you've been the wolf. Just keep track.
Yeah.
It's 5
Yeah,
rounds,
5
30
rounds.
seconds, 5
Yeah.
rounds. Great. So Teo, seeing
Come on,
that the
Teo.
larger wasp has retreated a little bit and sort of being pelted by the swarm, he's gonna sort of take a couple wild swings at the swarm that's next to him there.
Yeah.
Natural 20.
Oh!
So even in his sort of wounded state, he like hits a few of them with the flat of the blade, and they kind of like go flying a little bit.
Come on, Teo. Teo really pulled through, didn't he?
8 damage.
The last words you heard were idiot, so.
Well, you know what?
Great, so he sort of swings and you hear like a buzz, buzz, buzz as a few of them hit the edge of the blade. And he's gonna stay there. The wasp. So this big one, sort of scared by the sight he saw as, the other large wasp got a piece torn out of it. It's gonna run, but it's gonna make an attack on you as it's moving. So it's gonna make an attack first. 12 to hit.
12 misses.
12 misses. So on its way out, you see the stinger kind of retract and go in, but it goes by, and it's gonna try and run away. Make an attack of opportunity for me.
16 to hit.
16 hits. Roll for
Simple
damage.
math was really hard for me for a second.
Roll for damage.
Okay. Nine.
9 total damage.
Yes.
So as it flies away, after it had just gone down with its stinger, you grab onto the back of it and you pull back, and the body separates from the stinger and kind of
Yes.
I hate these things.
And the two are going to attack the same target. So we'll do your swarm first. 6 to hit.
6
So
misses.
you see a few coming in, and you kind of get low to the ground and dodge out of the way. And 7 to hit. That misses. So they all swarm. So Teo kind of wildly moving his arms about, kind of making sure that they fling away from him. And we'll go back to the top. Safira.
Okay, so noticing that they seem to respond to the growling, I want to make a very loud growl at this one. Can I do that?
You can. Go ahead and make the growling sound for me.
Okay.
That's good. I like that. Go ahead and make an intimidation check.
14.
14. Yeah, so I mean, it seems like you definitely, especially after dispatching a couple of the other wasps, it seems like they're on their way towards moving back towards the tree that they came from.
Okay.
Again, they might sort of attack you on the way out, but they,
Yeah.
you know, they're not gonna.
So then I want to just kind of start chomping at this one.
Start chomping, make an attack.
So I don't really know what else.
So
I
this
can
one
do.
you don't have advantage. Yeah.
Oh, right.
This one you would have advantage,
Right,
but this
that's-
would get an attack of opportunity, so that's up to you.
Right. No, I'd rather attack the guy
Okay.
with the opportunity.
Correct.
I'm an idiot.
Okay.
5 to hit.
5 misses. Great. So he's chomping. They're kind of flying about.
Yeah.
You say 7.
It was 7. I got the wrong.
7 to hit.
Oh, 7 still misses.
I'm sorry.
You're still chomping.
You chomped and it got a little closer than you thought, but
Yeah,
still out of reach.
misses.
You felt the wind of it.
Okay, Tail's gonna take another swing. 14 to hit, that hits.
Nice, well done,
Great.
boy.
Come on, Teo. There we go.
3, 4, 5.
See it.
Okay, so he hits those one, and again you hear a few like ping pong pong as it hits the edge of the blade, and a few of them go flying off, and they like he doesn't kill all of them, but they kind of dissipate up into the tree line, enough to. And the last swap, so they're gonna take an attack at you as they're kind of scared. 7 to hit.
Nice.
And they kind of surround you, and then they kind of reconvene on the other side, and they're gonna try and run. Go ahead and make an attack of opportunity.
12 to hit.
12 hits. Roll for damage.
Nice. 10.
All right, Safira, give us a little something. Yeah.
She just leaps up into the air and like slashes at them with her teeth, and then kind of lands down and looks back at Teo like, "What did I tell you?" in wolf form.
He can't understand you.
Wolf language.
Awesome.
You wish you were.
Right. So there's a bit of silence as the gets quieter and quieter as the wasps move away. And Tail kind of falls back onto his 2 hands and on his butt, and he kind of slides away from you a couple steps, and he kind of looks. And some time goes by, and after another 10 seconds, you feel the blue mist kind of swirl around you, and you raise your head and you have the bow in your hand again. And the last thing to sort of solidify is coming out into your hand. Blue mist. And you have the bow in your hand.
Assessing Teo, how hurt does he look?
I mean, he's
Like-
pretty beat up. He's not, on his last breath. But
Okay.
he's got a number of small sort of stings and things over him. He's kind of like holding one that was bleeding a little more than some of the other ones.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of look at the arrow and look back at him. What did I tell you about going up? What did you think was gonna happen when I told you about the wasps that you weren't interested in hearing about?
I thought I was gonna get that bow. I'm not an idiot. I know there's magics about, but that caught me by surprise. How did you know how to do that?
Oh no, it did this of its own accord. I don't know. It did it for me. I don't know how to.
May I?
What? Sure.
He takes it and he kind of like holds it in his hands and he looks over. Oh, I've heard stories of these wild ordnance, weapons imbued with the creature's essence. And he sort of turns it over in his hands a little bit and looks at some of the inscriptions. There was a famous battle in Ki'Irah, a battle of Needle Point Canyon. Supposedly 19 soldiers of the Bloodhawk Infantry Division held off advancing Gnoll forces numbering in the thousands with weapons like this. Always sounded like a bit of a fairy tale. And he sort of draws the bow, and as he does so, there's sort of a... As he draws the bow, there's kind of a low growl. And he puts it back. And he sort of takes an arrow out of his quiver, and he draws it. And he lets loose the arrow, and he kind of closes his eyes and kind of expects something, and the arrow sticks into a nearby tree, and he said that when you fire it, it works.
It worked for me.
I guess so. I suppose there's no training this one. My niece will be devastated. He holds out the bow.
Yeah. I think my first hypothesis was right. It's not a wolf.
Certainly something more. I don't think any random person can just pick it up and use it.
Yeah, I'm getting the sense.
Maybe the bow can sense desperation or fear inside you, something, huh?
Desperation and fear.
I'm not... You're misinterpreting.
No,
what I'm
you're
saying.
right. No, that's exactly what I'm sure it was. I'm sure it sensed my desperation and fear when I was saving your life.
I'm saying that the bow feels your emotions. Something to that effect, yeah?
And my emotions were desperation and fear.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I have to tell you, Teo, you're very keen.
Well, I came out here to get my wolf back, and doesn't look like that's happening. What are you gonna do with the bow?
Use it, I imagine.
Was my wolf?
Teo, darling, you're not expecting me to pay you something for this arrow.
Well, yeah, I am. Yeah.
I'm just gonna start walking away.
And he's sort of piping up behind you. He's sort of following you, and you walk sort of back towards the road.
He's welcome to follow me.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, you wouldn't have the bow if I hadn't brought you out here to begin with.
And you wouldn't have your life.
Well, the wolf wouldn't have escaped in the first place if it weren't for you.
Yes, what a tragedy. I'm gonna keep walking.
And he's following you. I mean, it's going to take a minute to walk back out to where the horse is.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? How are you able to use it? You don't think it's your fear or your desperation or whatever?
No, Teo, I think you're right. It's my overwhelming fear.
All right. Well, I can tell that that's not exactly what you really think. So.
Can you? Again, Teo, you're so keen. I'm gonna keep walking.
Okay. And he follows you back out to. And you get back out to where, at the edge of the forest line, and the horse is there where Teo kind of tied it up to a tree. And he goes over and he starts to untie the rope and things. And he's kind of like watching you with the bow that you still sort of in hand. He's kind of looking kind of sadly at it as he kind of...
Okay. Does he have like any kind of a saddlebag of something?
There's a saddlebag on the horse, yeah.
On his horse.
Mm-hmm.
Would there be any way for me to slip like one single gold into it without him noticing? Oh my god.
Make a sleight of hand check. You can make it with
She's
advantage.
too proud, but
He's-
she does feel like maybe.
He's untying the horse as well. He's looking away from it. Make it with advantage.
Oh, with advantage, you said. 10.
10. Seems like you've sufficiently shamed him enough that he's not like staring at the bow, so he kind of goes over, kind of grumpily unties the rope from the tree, and you take the opportunity to kind of put it in the saddle.
So I after I slip it in its saddlebag, I'm gonna start just kind of walking back towards where I was originally gonna go, which was the graveyard.
Sure. Yeah. And he sort of swings one leg up on the horse, and it kind of, you can hear it behind you, and he kind of rides up next to you, and like rides very slowly next to you for a second. It's going to be a long walk back to town.
And I offer my hand and like
pulls you up on the back of the horse. Continue to go back. So, what were you doing in Mukmu anyway?
You know, I thought I knew, but at this point it's unclear to me.
There's a lot of things that are unclear to me at this particular moment. You staying in town for a while?
For a little while, yeah. Not very much longer, I don't think.
Well, I don't think my niece is going to believe me when I tell her that a wolf turned into a bow, so if you ever feel like stopping by and explaining it to her, she'll be there.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. Maybe one day I'll get to show her.
You guys continue to ride. And we're going to head over to the graveyard.
Oh my god.
The two best friends.
Just sweeping away the old dead people.
And in the corner of this small room, the mortuary, Yannick straightens a cabinet door. And he's sort of using a small hammer to bend one of the hinges that is sort of warped back into an appropriate shape. He's kind of... And he sort of straightens it and holds it up, sort of satisfied with the outcome. He moves on to a large splintered drawer underneath it. And as he pulls on it, he hears sort of a little tinkling, and he cringes a little bit, and he opens it up. As he looks inside, he sighs, and he grabs a bucket, and he takes the drawer all the way out of its sort of enclosure there, and he starts to pour a mixture of sort of shards of glass and sort of a murky liquid that smells strongly of vinegar as he kind of...
Man.
And he slides it back in. And he looks over to the windowsill, where Beezaura is using a chisel and a brush to clean out the opening to the window, sort of... And so you can sort of clear it out and make sure that you can install a new window in there. And he gives you sort of a tired smile as you're working on the window. And he takes a step forward and he holds out the now sloshing bucket of wet debris. What do you think smells worse? The rising dead from last night? Or this cocktail of potions and embalming supplies?
Ugh.
Oof. I'd say they're both equally as disturbing.
And he walks over to the door, and he opens it, and he pours the liquid out. He doesn't pour the shards, but he kind of dumps the liquid out. And he kicks a little bit of dirt to cover it up a little bit. And he puts the bucket.
Safe to just leave out there.
It's nothing dangerous, just smelly.
Delicious.
I'll have to send a courier to Tuktu for additional supplies. I was never more than a journeyman when it came to alchemical knowledge. Some things are easy, like vinegar and alcohol solutions for cleaning out the cadavers.
Right.
But anything more complicated than that, I have sent to me from Tuktu.
How long does it take to get?
Day and a half, 2 days, if I send a rider quickly. Reina Kuros there in Tuktu, she's a potions master.
Reina Kuros?
Reina Kuros, yeah, Q-U-I-R-O-S. Kuros. I just have delivered to me basic things. Potions of necrotic resistance against the decay, and holy water, powdered iron, brimstone for the smell. Nothing fancy. Reina doesn't have a shop in the traditional sense. She sort of works out of her home. Does it mostly to satisfy her curiosity, I think. From what I understand, it's actually a great honor to study under her as an apprentice. They rarely last more than a few months. She's very particular.
She learned all the stuff herself.
Self-taught as far as I know, yeah.
Wow.
I wouldn't trust anybody else to get me something complicated. So when you're not assisting a desperate fool such as myself, what is your profession?
Well, I'd have to say I've been a bit of a traveler recently. Met up with the crew that you met earlier.
Sure.
Bit of a random assortment of folks.
And you all do what? Bounty hunt inside of major cities like you did here?
We've been known to take on missions together and use all of our own traits as advantages when we are assigned.
Mercenaries for hire, sort of?
Yeah, I would say so.
During the war, there was a group known as operatives. I don't know if you've heard of them. They performed a similar function. They'd go wherever the need was great.
didn't discriminate against who they helped. I don't know who you do or do not help, but I think it's always good to have some people moving about. You never know what kind of problem's going to pop up.
I agree. I grew up not being able to trust many people, so when I landed upon these nice creatures, I decided take a chance.
You're brave in more ways than one.
Yes, my size is deceiving, I know, but
I didn't mean that.
well, yes, I am. But most people don't expect me to be capable in many ways.
Sure. When I put that contract out, I'm not exactly sure what I expected. I think I was secretly hoping that someone far more intelligent than I would recognize the signs and take over the investigation entirely.
Right.
It's so much simpler when the bigger picture is out of your control.
I agree. But I hope we helped a bit.
Yes. It's looking like we're almost done here. Thank you for your help.
Of course, I'm sorry they didn't arrive. I don't know where they are.
There's still a bit of time yet before I plan on handing it over.
Is there anything else you need?
I don't think so. Perhaps we sit and rest a bit, see if they show up, and then we'll head over.
Is there anyone you want to talk to otherwise there?
At the reservation center? I don't think so. It's mostly the city's resources I'm interested in. Possibly some people to watch the graveyard. Some payment to be sent to possibly get an expert to come in from Tuk-Tu, take a look at this. Cedric's in charge of the coin, more or less, so it's him I have to talk to.
Hope they're not all so busy with that fire that happened.
Yes, I didn't get a good look at it, did you?
Not entirely, but I just heard smatterings from the crowd.
Did you know whose house it was?
I heard it was, what's her, something with an M. I think Mike, is there a Micah?
Sounds familiar, sure.
Yes, I believe it was her home.
Oh, I hope nobody was hurt.
Yeah, I agree. Seemed to be a bit of a scuffle going on there, so I didn't want to be involved.
Sometimes when things like that happen, the crowds get very dense. It's difficult to get assistance.
Sure. But guess we'll probably find out more once we make our way up over that way.
We'll see what Skits has to say.
As this conversation's going on, we'll head to just inside the city walls, where heading sort of up and out, Graven's walking along. Sort of feeling a little weighed down as he sort of nurses some injuries that don't appear. They feel internal in their sort of damage and feeling as though he's hurting from the inside.
I definitely haven't seen anybody since.
You have not seen anybody?
That
you recognize.
on the way.
And you're sort of now up towards the north end of town. You're walking a little bit. You're passing by Gwendolyn's on the right. There's still some people out and about. It's not.
So yeah, just as it kind of gets a little less populated, and I see that I'm coming up on the graveyard, I'm gonna take the two halves of the thing back out.
Yep.
And just kind of like look around and slowly kind of slot them together again and
Put them together. Are you looking around for anything, or you're just
listening and
Okay. So you put the two pieces together, and again you hear sort of a little, ever so slightly, and again the edge seems to disappear a little bit. The mist starts to swirl.
Oh gosh.
And the message begins to play. Make a perception check.
7.
As you sort of have it, you hear it in your head again, the message sort of being transmitted, but you take a little peek around, and a couple people that are walking by kind of...
I'm gonna start to just try to pull it back apart again.
It
won't. I'm gonna just make sure that I get to the walls where it's less and less populated.
You continue to walk, and as you're walking, people kind of...
Oh my god!
As you're moving through, and you get to the edge, make a just a straight strength check.
Oh my god!
19. Yes. Hey. So strong. Plus 2, 21.
Great. So you're sort of walking and looking, and finally it pulls apart, and the message stops.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
That was fabulous.
Oh my god, that's so
Okay. Frustrated. I'm gonna kind of fold it back up in the cloth and just
Oh god.
got it, and like put it back in the thing.
Give me an Arcana check as well.
Okay. 9.
9. So you're just kind of looking and recognizing a little bit of, as you were looking around, you get the impression that not because you understand this particular magic, but you've seen something like it, that it seems to be a radius effect. That like things, when you put it together, things within a certain, you don't know how big the radius is, but that things within a certain radius can hear the transmitted message.
It's not even any specially connected to me. Anybody could put this together.
Yes.
I would imagine.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I'll destroy it. Yeah. How delicate does this look?
They don't feel. I mean, they have a little weight to them, and even there's edges, but they're not like, they don't look fine in the way that they would like scrape or crack if you hit it against something. I mean, it looks glassy, but it's thick. I mean, if you really smashed it, maybe.
Once I'm kind of to the edge here.
You're getting up to the edge of the city gates there. Yeah.
I'll get to the edges where there's still some gravel and some rocks and stuff.
Sure.
And put it on the ground and take a swing at it with my mace.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So you put it down on the ground. You sort of give a look around, make sure nobody is particularly looking. Take out your mace. Give me an attack roll.
Natural 20.
Oh, bye.
Put it down. Take it out.
Back.
And while no one's looking, and you smash it, and immediately it hits it, and it doesn't seem to shatter. But you pick up the mace, and it has a good like dent in it, like if you hit a piece of glass, it has that like spider web effect on it. So it didn't like blow apart, but you put a good dent into it.
Whoa.
Just put it away for now. God damn it. Yeah, and keep it for now. And keep going to the. I see Yannick's at this point?
You're now outside the wall, so you can see the graveyard on your right.
Okay.
Great.
I don't see anybody.
No.
Nope.
You don't see me.
Go to the building.
You start to walk, and as you start to walk, you are coming back on horseback. And in the distance, you see a Goliath man, and you see kind of a... and then you see him look, and then put something in his pocket, and then he starts to move a little bit towards the graveyard. And Tails
So-
kind of...
Seeing that happen, I'm gonna tap Tay on the back and slide off and say, patch yourself up, alright?
Thanks. See you around, I guess.
See you around here. I'm gonna kind of give him like a, little nod and then look off towards Graven and start walking in its direction.
And he goes, hey, watch this. And he rides a little bit. He gets up to the edge of his fence, like his property, and he goes, oh! And all the little wolves come running out. And they're kind of running out to the edge of the fence.
And so she breaks into a huge grin.
And then he keeps riding, gets to the edge of the
And
fence.
smiles at him as you
And I've seen all this too.
You were kind of walking into the grave. You definitely heard Teo do the howl. Yeah. So you turn and you see Safira, who just sort of slid off.
Safira,
Hiya.
I think we're both a little late.
I think we are. We should probably hurry in. Problem back there?
With what?
Oh, I just saw you taking an enormous swing at the ground.
No. To be perfectly honest, I've had a bit of a frustrating afternoon, but I think I would like to see if anybody else is here.
And I'm gonna start walking towards.
You guys walk quickly, and we'll go back into where you were just finishing up this conversation with Yannick.
Are they here yet?
Not yet. No.
Okay, can I still talk to them?
Okay. Yep.
I had to think for a
No,
second.
that's all right.
This is dicey, but
Dicey.
yeah, there's a little pun in there too.
Oh, God.
Mr. Yannick,
Yes?
I know it's a touchy subject around here,
Alright.
but I feel like I can oddly trust you.
I appreciate that, and even if you can't, I feel like you've earned yourself the right to ask a difficult question.
Thank you. Not in a bad way, but I don't think you're friends with many people around here.
I suppose not.
Which is not just an insult, I'm sorry, but just in your experience, have you come across a man? I've heard him be referred to as the Lemonade Man.
I'm aware of his existence, yes.
Do you know his connection to people in the Light Whistle Estate Club?
No. The only thing I know about him is that he's the primary connection of getting myconid products in McDonough.
Yes, I've heard. You see, aside from my friends and whatever mission we take on, as in the graveyard and such, I'm also on a bit of a personal mission.
Alright.
Do you know anything about special chess pieces?
He sort of takes a breath, and he takes his tool and slides it and kind of sits.
Sure. What about them?
Are they known to be a possession of people here?
Yes. But they're not talked about very often anymore.
Yes. I've heard that as well.
It's not just the Lemonade Man. Skits doesn't like it either.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He always felt like Mukmu was struggling to find its identity, and that by allowing the elites of the Light Whistle Estate Club to have their fair share or more than their fair share of power, it always prevented the city from becoming what it could be. They call Mukmu and Tuktu the sister cities, but make no mistake about it, Mukmu is the sad younger sister.
Sorry.
You don't have to apologize to me.
Is it more common in Tuktu?
I would think you'd have quite a few opportunities to find them in Tuktu.
Interesting. I may have had a run-in with a gentleman who had his hands on pieces. He didn't necessarily get them in any sort of way of honor.
I feel like there might be more of that going on than you think.
It's a bit dangerous.
I think it always has been. That's been my impression. I hesitate to recommend him because he certainly has his own reputation, but do you know who Armand Valiad is?
I've heard of him.
Well, if there's anyone who would know about chess pieces in Tuktu, it would be him.
Well, that's good to know. Seems like we both need things from Tuktu.
Well, I probably won't be going there myself, but if you're ever headed there and you need some thoughts, recommendations, you can always ask.
Thank you.
Of course.
Appreciate the advice.
And it's at this point. You're knocking. And Yannick kind of gets up quickly.
Friends of yours, I hope.
I hope so.
And he sort of shuffles over. He kind of listens for a second.
Yes.
Graven!
He looks over to Beezaura and he's like,
Silence.
It's Graven.
Oh.
you know, opens it up.
And Safira, sorry.
That was odd.
Is Orba?
And I jump down from the windowsill. I'm like, it's about time y'all came here.
I was lost in thought. Where's Orba?
To be honest, I was the only one that showed up relatively on time.
Zara's the only one to have arrived at this point. I have to say I was at the reservation center for some time, and it's possible someone came by earlier when I wasn't here.
And there was no note left or anything?
No?
No sign of Orba or Erland, for that matter?
No.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay.
I have to say, your concern is making me concerned.
No,
Is there a
we're not
problem?
concerned so much as we tend to sometimes get split up.
Well, Mokmu's a small place. I'm sure they'll find their way back.
I'm sure they will.
Where were you?
I got sent out on a sort of a wild wolf chase, actually, as it turned out.
I'm glad you're alright.
Yeah.
Is this related to the events of last night?
No, entirely unrelated. There's an animal trainer around here who.
Yes, I know. Teo across the way.
Yeah,
Sure.
one of his wolves got out, and I had to help him track it down.
Did you fight it?
In a manner of speaking, yeah.
Interesting. Graven?
I went to the temples with Orba, but we got separated.
Oh.
I thought I would see her here.
Well, I was explaining to Beezaura earlier that I was not able to meet with Skits. There was a number of problems going on at the reservation center, so they told me to come back later, which is the plan at the moment.
Problems?
It seemed like there was a number of emergencies that he was dealing with.
You spoke with him?
No, Uriel told me that. Standing Sergeant.
You trust this, Skents. You've said as much. I keep asking you.
I suppose there's no one in Mokmu that I deal with more than Skits.
What about Uriel?
What about him?
How well do you know him?
Still decently well, not as well as Skits. All right.
Beezaura and I witnessed him outside of the reservation center earlier today, or was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Before you came to the graveyard.
Yes. On
Yes.
our way. On our way.
Yes.
He had a paper.
The reservation center has papers.
No, this
It
was not strictly on the books. As he was leaving for the day, he'd left something in the bushes to be retrieved by some unknown entity. It looked like some kind of shady dealing was going on.
Well, who retrieved it?
We did.
Did you
You got
see
to
who
it.
was going to retrieve it?
I saw a face, but I don't know who it is.
You see kind of a look of concern sort of wash over Yannick.
So what now? Now we can't even go to the reservation center?
It was Uriel that kept you from seeing Skents personally.
Well, yes, but it's also Uriel's job to make Skents' appointments. Nothing about that seems suspicious to me.
In this case, the paper, it had names on it with their ratings.
All right. You're allowed to look up people's ratings at the reservation center?
They were just at the passing mark.
Okay. People who had asked to find out what their rating was? Make sure that they didn't fall underneath the line?
Perhaps.
Possibly.
Is there any other way to see Skents other than through Uriel?
I suppose you could camp outside the reservation center and wait for him to leave. You think that sounds preferable?
You believe it's important to talk to him as well as we do.
This conversation that I'd like to have with him is not one I'd like to have in the thoroughfare.
Well, Uriel doesn't know that we saw the paper.
All right.
He doesn't know that, well, I don't know if he doesn't know that the men never got it.
You're going to try again.
Yes, I was actually hoping that one or more of you would come with me.
He wanted to go at 8 o'clock.
Possibly a little earlier if we think that the others aren't coming. I'm hoping that by more than one of us going, it will show the urgency of the message.
I think I stand out too much at this point in this city. I've been here long enough.
You said that you'd met Skents already, no?
Yes, that was days ago at this point.
You think he's likely to, turn you away at the reservation center?
No.
I don't think it'd be a problem. I'd like to see his reaction to when you want to get in and talk to him.
I would very much like some first-hand accounts. After all, I was inside the mortuary during the battle.
I'm
Would
still.
you mind accompanying him?
I'm still willing to go.
All right, I'll take as many as I can get.
I'd rather not.
And he sort of looks a little disappointed.
All right.
Look, I don't mind coming to meet him, but I do think maybe we should give our friends a moment to trickle in late, maybe.
I can stay here.
And with that kind of hanging in the air, we're going to go over to the Natural Studies. And the smoke in the northeastern section of the Sun District has started to dissipate a little bit, moving in a slow black fog away from the breeze coming off the water. And with the fire quelled, the congestion of the surrounding streets filters back towards the main square, with much of the foot traffic traveling by the rear of the Natural Studies Institute, where Erland is perched nearby, keeping a watchful eye on anyone who looks like they might be approaching. No one seems to catch your eye at the moment. And the rear gate shows no signs of life. It looks like some additional members of the City Watch are returning to their posts around the interior of the courtyard now that the fire has sort of been stopped from spreading. And around the front, a still disguised Orba takes note of any arrivals. Nothing so far but the City Watch, and nobody enters into the building itself. But some time passes, and you look over, you see Erland on the other end, and you two kind of poke your heads back and forth. And your disguise is probably getting fairly close to the end. What would you like to do during this time?
What does my surroundings look like? Is there a place where I could just duck in and duck back out as the spell fades?
With a couple minutes, yeah. I mean, just with a minute to run over to a... Yeah, there's gaps between the houses and things.
Or is where Erland is standing hidden enough from...
No, the back of the reservation center is actually more, if you looked at
really
the map.
in sight.
Yeah, oh yeah. The all around the reservation center is pretty open. You'd have to duck into like a little alley or
Okay,
something.
I'll duck into the nearest one and drop it.
Sure, you're gonna drop it.
Yeah. Good.
Yep.
Okay, I step back out
Sure,
into
you do.
position. Nothing. I haven't seen anything.
Both of you make perception checks.
11. Oh boy.
Yeah, 4. Oh, sorry, perception?
Yeah.
6.
Definitely better.
So you guys kind of try to keep an unsuspicious but watchful eye on anyone coming or going that seems out of the ordinary or isn't a member of the City Watch. And Erland feels something.
Ooh.
A little tug on the side of his cloak. And you look down to see a young girl, Hazel, who's there, peeking out from underneath the wide brim of a cavalier hat with one side pinned and curled up and a big ostrich feather sticking out the top, quite a fancy hat that she's acquired. And she sort of holds the brim up a little bit.
So just throughout this conversation while I'm talking to her, I want to make sure that I'm still keeping an eye predominantly on the back door. Like, I don't want to get... I want to make sure I'm standing in a way that, like, if I'm looking at her, I could conceivably see someone walking out of the institute.
Sure, you can do that for sure. You can definitely be able to see if anyone comes in or out of the back door.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult to concentrate like on all your surroundings.
Totally.
Okay.
It's the bad. Like, I just want to make sure, like, if for example, if like that group of people comes out of that back door, I want to make sure that I'm still able to like.
Yeah,
No, I
you
know
could
what
see if
this
someone
is. Yeah.
exited or entered.
I remember.
Well,
Greatly.
don't you look fancy?
Thanks. I bought this. Didn't steal it. There's a nice lady named Mrs. Gorky who's a milliner. I always wanted one of her hats, and now I have one.
Can I take a quick look into my bag to make sure she didn't take any of my stuff?
Sure. You rifle through pretty quick. It doesn't look like she grabbed anything from your bag.
Great. In addition to the hat, the new hat, have you acquired any other new objects in the last 24 hours?
And she sort of holds her hat up and looks around.
That depends. If you've got my other gold.
I believe I do owe you one more gold, yes.
Well, then I believe I have this.
She was one of those little kids.
She produces a message. For reference,
Yes!
hour 2, minute 56 in episode 25.
Play it back!
Hazel stole it while you were pushing through the crowd outside of McDonough.
As you were leaving.
My God.
You just got
What is
one.
creepy little
Booyah, got
girl?
that.
Oh my
And I
God.
didn't even you didn't even say anything.
You were like pushing, I made a roll.
You made a perception
He
check.
had you make a perception
We
check.
noticed.
Every time he's had to make
I've been sitting on that for 2 weeks.
And that's when it was bad roll night.
And she produces
Oh
it,
my god.
sort of close to her chest.
I give her the gold.
She takes it. And she hands it to you.
And I'm gonna put it into my bag.
Sure.
Actually, gonna take a quick little glance at this. Just to make sure that it's not like, does it look like the letter that I saw past?
It says, fuck you, Erland.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the fake one that
As
I put
far
in my
as you can tell,
pocket.
there's nothing about it that does not
you
look like
old
what you saw.
fogey.
Great.
Oh my god.
I am very proud of you, Hazel.
And she sort of bows a little bit in the feather dips.
As she does that, can I sort of like assume my position and just put out a hand for a little high five?
Mm-hmm. And she sort of... And she runs off, unless you stop her. Great. She moves off.
There was no way I could have realized that, right?
Unless you saw me make the roll. I purposely did it when you weren't looking at me.
If you had rolled better than him, he would have said yes.
Yeah, if you had rolled really well, you would have noticed her taking it.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's how the cookie crumbles, I guess.
He was supposed to destroy it.
And over around near
That's
the front.
true.
Yeah.
Sometimes so a little bit of time passes now that you're undisguised, you've come back out.
Yeah.
And something pops up that might have caught your eye even if Erland hadn't given you a description. Hooded figure, standing more than 1.5 feet over the general population of the thoroughfare. And you see him kind of traveling through the crowd, and you can see people passing by. He's sort of, from here up, is well above most of the people walking through.
Uh-huh.
And he's wearing a large poncho that hangs over his shoulders and goes all the way down to the ground. And his hood is obscuring a lot of his face. You can sort of see the very bottom of his face.
Uh-huh.
And he's sort of moving towards the front door of the Institute.
Okay. Can he see me within any reason? Like, his line of sight? Can he see me?
It looks like he's moving straight towards the thing. I mean, you're nearby. If he was like...
Right. Well, I guess from, like, how he walks and stuff, does he, like, scan the crowd as he walks, or is he, like, just kind
He's
of...
going straight. He does not move his head in any direction other than right towards the entrance of the Institute. And you can see his poncho kind of moving, billowing a little bit as he takes, like, wide steps through the thoroughfare. He's moving quickly towards the door because he's big, wide strides.
He's moving quickly?
Yeah. I mean, he's not, like, running, but he's just big and his strides are large.
And can I see Erland? Is he talking to...
If you, like, just moved over a little bit, you could, like, catch his eye or something, yeah.
Is he, like, looking in my direction because he's looking at that door?
What do you want to do?
How far away is Erland?
Back around to the back is probably 40-ish feet, 40, 50 feet.
Can I shout, Benji! As if I'm, like, trying to greet somebody?
Yeah, definitely.
Benji!
You hear that?
Are you looking at me?
Yeah, I look over at her.
I'm doing this and pointing
and he's
toward him.
moving. He's now up close to the gate of the Natural Studies Institute, the front gate.
There's no way for me to see both, like if you're on the side of the institute, there's no way to see both the sort of front entrance.
No, because remember the back when you went in, it sort of recessed a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're on the sides, you cannot see the back entrance.
Okay, I'm going to. Are there a lot of people around at this hour? Or is it
A decent amount, yeah. There's people passing.
Okay, I'm
35
gonna.
o'clock.
I'm gonna walk quickly, but not running, but like quickly towards Orba.
Yeah.
And
So as you get over to Orba, he's now passed through. He's now into the courtyard section and moving quickly up to the entrance of the institute.
I was thinking I could disguise myself as you and bait him away.
do I see him?
Yeah, she pointed at him. Yeah.
I would not. I would
No?
not do that. No.
Okay.
Are there guards at the front of the institute as well?
No, they're kind of milling through the courtyard area, and it's if you enter through the front, no one's going to stop you. That's not that's not off limits. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
have to let him go in. There's nothing to do. I need to go back to they can't exit the rear without me being there. I need to go back to the rear.
Well, unless they hop the gate, they're gonna have to come through the front gate anyways.
No.
There's no back gate. It's only the front gate and then the back door.
Isn't there a back gate?
You had to hop over the wall. Yeah, you could go out the back entrance, but then you have to come around to the front unless you hop the fence.
Unless they hop it.
Okay. There's nothing to be done.
And at this point, the front door, you hear the clanging of the metal. He's entered in through the front.
He's legally entering a building. There's nothing to be done about that.
Oh, I understand. I thought maybe we could lure him away or something and
I
capture
do
him.
not want that thing lured anywhere.
Okay. Never mind. Look, I don't know how much longer I can wait here with you, Erland. I have some questions that need answered before I go meet Jillian.
What questions are those?
Questions that I believe Yannick might have answers to. I want to go to the cemetery. I want to go to the graveyard. In case when I speak with Jillian tonight, I'm planning on telling her everything that I need to tell her in order to be considered part of the mission. So in case when I do tell her things don't go so well and I don't see you, I had something quickly to confess to you, which is that I could actually hear what you and Graven were talking about where you're from. And I'm sorry I didn't say anything at first, but being from where I'm from, I was in a lot of rooms where private conversations were taking place and I had to pretend like I didn't hear them. So I'm sorry.
What exactly are you sorry about?
I'm sorry for lying and saying I didn't hear it, but I did. And she starts to take out 2 sheets of paper, one of which I'm sure you can probably see because it's going to be on top, is your sketch. And she's going to say, look, I understand. I've been at the halls for as long as I can remember, and I've seen its light, but I've also seen its darkness, and it clings to you and follows you and determines your fate without your permission. And I want you to know that you are a good person, and you should not have had to be alone. And she's going to hand him 2 sheets of paper, one of which is the sketch on top.
The one from Romaro's office?
Mm-hmm. I have to go. If you want to join me, you can, but I need to go.
I'll catch up with you all later then.
Hopefully I will be able to see you later tonight. And she starts to walk away.
Don't tell anything Jillian she doesn't need to know. Tell her exactly the amount of information that is required to keep you working with us.
Be vague.
Erland smiles.
She nods and turns and starts heading to the cemetery quickly.
Are you telling him what the second paper is?
Are you looking at the second paper?
So
I mean, he has it, so you have to tell him what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at the sketch first.
It's pretty
behind. Look, can I tell with the? Actually, no. I'll look behind first to see what the second page is.
It's the description at the checkpoint that I stole from like episode 3.
The sketch that says Tristan underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
it's not a sketch.
It's a description.
It's a written description.
Okay. Are there fires near me?
Fires?
Like, are there like torches?
No, it's not dark yet. So
it's not dark yet.
Oh,
It's like
fire.
5. Okay.
It'll be dark in an hour. Okay.
Okay.
There was a fire near you, but it's out now.
Are there fires now?
Okay. Is the place where I was having that conversation with Orba separate, far enough away from the entrance, or at least like concealed enough from the entrance that if someone were to walk out, they wouldn't just be like, "Yeah, he's there."
You're outside you're not in the courtyard area.
Yeah, but is it far enough away that it's not like I'm not immediately visible?
Sure, there's people passing nearby you through the thoroughfare, so yeah, it wouldn't be immediately obvious that you were standing.
Okay. I would like to maintain this sort of. I'm gonna walk over to a sort of maybe a dimmer area that's maybe a little more hidden,
shadowed area.
And I'm gonna put the description of me in my bag. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna sort of look at the picture that was in Grimari's office. Can I tell how it was repaired? You said it was like ripped up and then repaired. Was it a magic repair? Or is it like
no? It looks like a physical repair.
Mm-hmm.
In what way, I guess? It looks like it was torn and now...
It looked like someone made an illustration of Erland. Can I... There's no signature, there's no way for me to tell, like, upon closer, because I was dealing with both desks and plants.
Yeah. No way to tell what.
There's no way to tell, like, on the back, there's no...
There's nothing on the back, no.
And then, is there any way for me to tell, like, how small was it ripped up? Was it, like,
Oh,
shredded?
no, it looks like it was ripped into 4 or 5, 6 pieces,
Okay.
larger pieces.
So then how was it repaired? Like, what is it? There's no Scotch tape in this.
No, it looks like there was some kind of putty or paste.
Okay.
Because there's like a little seam where the rip marks are.
Does it seem like a new-ish repair? Is that hard? Does it seem...
The putty's like dry at this point.
So there's no way to tell if it's decidedly newer than the page or anything
It's
like that?
it's old and it's at least, I don't know,
Yeah.
a month old, and that's vague, but yes. The putty's dry, that sort of...
So sort of flipping it around. It's a pretty good sketch, right?
Yeah, it's very good. It looks like you're younger in the picture,
Yeah.
but it's
Sort of, because he's alone, he's gonna have there's this like big kind of smile, and he's gonna fold it like really neatly into 4 and put it into his bag, and resume his sort of like his watch of the front gate.
So now you're watching the front gate.
Yeah.
Um,
Because so there's the outer gate, and
There's
then
a-
there's a key door and then another door. So in order to
You're talking
get
about the back.
the back,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
So even if they were to exit both of those doors, they would have to walk around.
Yeah, because there's a wall surrounding the entire property,
Okay.
and the only exit of the wall is the front main double gate. You guys hopped over that to get into the courtyard last time, yes.
Yeah. Okay,
So
right,
unless
right.
someone hops the back fence, they would theoretically have to walk around to the front.
Right. I'm gonna maintain
Great.
this sort of position. What time is it? 5-ish.
5-ish, yeah. That's fine. Great. And we'll go to Orba, who's heading back. Is there anything on the way to, or are you headed straight to the cemetery?
Just keeping an eye out for Graven.
Great. You don't see him as you travel through.
Okay.
And you get over to the cemetery, and you get to the edge of the town. You pass through the gates. On your right, you see the cemetery. You see the mortuary. Nobody's outside of it at the moment.
Okay. I just head to the mortuary, I guess, if I don't see anybody.
You travel through the sort of soft earth of the graveyard. You get up to the door.
I guess, can I listen real quick to see if I hear voices?
Sure, it sounds like there's voices.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll
And
knock.
you knock. And we go back inside.
Who is it?
I'm gonna go to the door.
Sure. You open it up. You see.
Orba freezes, just frozen.
And reach out and like grab her into a hug and hold her head like against my chest.
Orba hugs.
And just like quietly like, I'm sorry, I'll try to explain.
It's okay, it's okay.
Is everything all right?
Yes. There we go.
What?
Hi, hi, hi,
Hi.
Hi.
hi. I'm,
Raven.
I was just running late.
As I said, we got separated near the temples.
Yes. We were about to leave for the reservation center, actually. I was unable to talk to Skits earlier, so you
Oh, I'm so sorry.
don't have to be sorry, just wasting my time, more or less. Not you.
Oh,
them.
I'm sorry.
No.
Would you have a moment for just a quick conversation? Actually, I have some questions.
Sure, yeah.
Well, feel free to go.
She
No,
wants
I
to
have
talk.
some questions for Yannick.
Oh, I see. Go ahead.
Unless you were busy.
I misunderstood.
No.
Please.
Okay.
We were planning on waiting for at least a moment to see if your other friend showed up.
Oh, I know. Erland he's preoccupied. He's safe, but he's
Okay.
working on something else.
Okay.
But he's safe.
All right.
So, and Orba kind of like looks at her friends and is uncomfortable that they're here, but they need to hear it. So, Mr. Yannick, you seem to be a little bit knowledgeable in the world of necromancy, no?
Some, yes.
I wouldn't mind a little bit of insight because I'm quite ignorant and I think I've found myself in a little bit of a pickle.
Something to do with the spirits from last night.
Other spirits.
What do you mean other spirits?
Other spirits, Safira. As soon as I'm about to inform him of everything, and all of your questions will be answered. So when we were traveling, we traveled through desecrated grounds that were set up by the Black Lion tribe.
Yes, I've heard of that happening before.
Yes.
Particularly gruesome.
It was very uncomfortable, and there were some spirits, and one of which approached me, not in a threatening way, actually. She seemed really lovely, and she offered me a flower, and being a naive fool, I took it, and when I accepted it, her face turned into that of a man's with just rotting flesh and barnacles, and he laughed at me, and I shook it off. I didn't really look into it much, and then when we rested that evening and woke up, it was to an ambush by that same creature.
The rest of you were present for this?
Yes.
I assume it was my fault that the creature found us because of this flower. I destroyed this flower, and I thought that it was the end of the story. But when I went to the New Kelke church today to pray, she appeared again with a second flower and spoke to me, and she seems to know things that I have not told anybody.
Did you take the flower?
I did not take the flower this time.
All right. It's a common misconception that the majority of undead are mindless or aimless evils. This couldn't be further from the truth. Incorporeal beings are unambiguous in their intentions. It could be confounding to a layman, but if a spirit shows itself to you, it's for a very specific reason. You've summoned them, or wronged them, or trespassed or stolen. Perhaps there's some unfinished business. Is there a way that you feel that you might have wronged a spirit?
She did not seem upset with me at the church. She said that she served me.
It's not uncommon for a spirit to give a gift. You said it was a flower.
Yes.
When they do so, they're giving you a piece of themselves. By accepting it, you've connected yourself to it in some way.
What does that mean?
Well, could mean a number of things. What color was the flower?
I describe it. It was white with black tips, right?
A white flower can denote innocence. I'm speculating here, but you didn't recognize the person, the spirit with the flower, no?
I did not.
Well, I would guess that the spirit has some connection to innocence as a concept or construct.
But
They might have been killed as collateral damage from a larger conflict, or they've been cursed after they killed an innocent being, or perhaps they've seen horrors that they can't unremember. You fight, I've seen you fight. Is it possible that you accidentally killed someone that should not have died?
maybe. But how would that explain her face transforming into that of the undead warrior that we ended up having to run away from?
Well, when she established this connection with you, she desires something from you. Perhaps that was her way of warning you, so that you would not be killed and you would be able to complete your task that she wishes for you.
How would she know what my task is?
No, the task that she has in mind for you.
She has a task in mind for me?
I'm assuming that's why she presented herself to begin with.
It's not possible that somebody summoned her to keep an eye on me?
It's possible. That would have required that person to be in your vicinity when you first saw her and when you just said you saw her recently at the church. Is there someone that's been at both places?
Not that possesses such power that I know of.
Is there a way to shield yourself, conceal yourself from these from beings like this?
Sure. You could kill it the next time you see it.
What do you mean kill it? Isn't it already dead? How do you kill something that's already...
One can destroy an undead creature. You did a little bit of it yourselves last night. It is
True.
not impossible.
So
That would sever your connection with the spirit.
But she represents some kind of innocence. Are we sure we want to kill her? Is that something that might anger the spirit world even? How much do we know about
Do they
this?
typically deal in deception?
They can. There's a man in Tuktu named Dr. Artemis Veto, who's a grief counselor and also a skilled medium. He's actually someone that I was planning to recommend to Skits, get the city to pay for his travel, consultation in these troubles in the graveyard. If you were looking for someone to determine a spirit's particular motives for contacting you, that's who I'd ask.
okay.
Seems to be a lot of resources in Tuktu.
It's a big place.
I'm remembering I asked a druid what the flower was. It was a feltast flower. Does that mean anything to you?
I think I've seen one before, but in terms of that meaning something, I'm not sure.
What was the color of the most recent? She offered you another one?
It was the same color.
Seems she's trying to remind you of whatever business she has in mind.
But she knew something about me that nobody knows.
Without prying, is it an item? If you're carrying an item that the spirit is connected to in some way, it will know where the item is at all times.
Do you have something?
Orba glares at Beezaura.
Leave her alone.
I'm not trying to pry.
No, I appreciate your insight, truly. I was feeling quite helpless, actually, about
It
it.
is very possible that you are in possession of a cursed item.
Orba kind of laughs a little bit.
And he sees that. He's kind of a little put off / confused at your laughter.
I apologize. That sounds about right, Mr.
Okay.
Yannick, sir. Okay, well, I believe you've answered all of my questions quite well.
All right. If your other friend's not coming, I suppose that means it's time for us to take a walk downtown.
Yes, he will not be joining us.
Do you want to come with
I
us,
just had
Orla?
one moment outside, just for a second, if I could just talk to you for just one moment.
Am I going to be yelled at? Okay,
No,
No,
no, no, no.
okay.
I'm gonna follow you.
And I don't stop him from following us. I just want to take...
Yannick stays inside.
Can I just take her outside? I'm like really trying to keep it like quick. I'm aware that he wants to go.
Sure.
But
What do you do?
I
All
want
of
to take
them are
her...
going out and talking together, or are they just
So
talking?
Safira took Orba and they open the door and they sort of go around the corner a little bit and Graven's walking after them.
I'm gonna follow Graven.
Okay.
I'll see you outside, Yannick.
All right, let me know when you need me.
I want to pull her into sort of a place that's like dark, almost out of sight of maybe them. Is there a possibility?
No, there's the mortuary.
Continue to
there's
follow
grave.
you.
There's also like
Afternoon, right?
yeah, it's also an
like
open
not-
graveyard.
yeah,
there's not like
nowhere-
buildings here.
Okay, is there a way that I can possibly like,
Tell him to
slip
stop
this
following.
in-
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Is there a way that I can slip this into my hand?
Yeah, it's not.
And I know, and then put it like maybe into her pocket somehow as we're walking.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Wow.
Nice.
We'll see how much. 18.
So you guys are kind of walking. You've sort of taken Orba by the arm a little bit, and you're sort of walking side by side, and you take it out and you sort of slip it into a pocket in her bag.
Okay. And I'm gonna say to her in a low voice, I've just slipped something in your pocket. It's called Ascending Stone. You can get a message to someone immediately, but you're going to need to use it today. I don't know if you have anyone that you need to communicate with, but if you do, you can get them a message.
Why are you giving this to me?
Because I think you might be the one that needs us the most. And I'm gonna, is that enough information to? I don't even know if that's enough information.
Well, that's what you say.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can see that she's
Yeah,
talking to her
talking.
quietly, but you can't tell what she said.
I'm gonna catch Graven. Sure. Graven, why won't you come with us?
As I told you, I stand out too much. That man who was going for Uriel's note has already seen me. I'd rather just stay away from the reservation center until we leave this city. I'm sorry.
Something happened to you.
So I was telling Safira I had a bit of a frustrating afternoon. Everything's all right, though.
Well, if you need me, you need to let me know.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna, now that I've given it to her, I'm gonna start walking back towards the group.
Beezaura and Safira, you plan on accompanying Yannick?
I believe so.
All right. Orba, you gonna stick with me for now? Okay.
Okay.
Where will you be?
Well, you've got plans later tonight, right? I'll probably just be going back to the inn for the evening later on.
Right?
Yes, I'm meeting Jillian at the wet dock at 8. We're going to have a conversation.
Don't be nervous.
I'm extremely nervous.
Don't be nervous, but let her know that I'd like to get the mission started.
I'm sure she'll take that into account, Beezaura.
Hope so. It'd save her life.
Well,
Orba's just like, let him stay.
You guys are all
I'll
talking.
either-
You can see Yannick
Yeah.
kind of peeking out of the doorway a little
I'll either
bit.
see you at the inn or I'll leave message there.
Yannick,
Yes?
ready to go?
Yes. You've all decided to go, I see.
Not as we'd hoped.
The two of us, but
Only two. Not, I mean, no offense. I was hoping that we'd get more than that.
Me too.
Are we still?
Yeah,
we're still
he's
right.
walked out to meet you guys.
If one of you has important business, I understand. Or if both of you do, but like I said, it's getting more and more difficult to get the attention of anyone at the reservation center.
He's done a great favor by talking to me, Graven. What if we walk and talk?
All right.
Thank you.
Just give us maybe 3 paces. Me and I just have some stuff to catch up on.
Sure.
And yeah, starts moving
and I'm gonna give them space and kind of walk up with
with Yannick.
Yannick.
Sure.
Yeah,
You do
same.
so. Great. You guys have a moment here behind. So if you're...
Hi.
Hi.
You okay?
Are you? I honestly don't know what happened, but what's the last thing you remember from inside the temple?
Lady Sangrila saw you, said your name, and when I looked down, there was water boiling at my feet, and when I looked up, you were both gone.
You did? You didn't see her at all?
No.
After that?
No, where did you go? You didn't see her either? I thought she went with you.
No. We need to find out if we can find word of her. I blacked out and I woke up an hour later at the inn. I don't know what I did in the meantime.
Okay.
But if you haven't heard anything, then I suppose that's good.
I haven't. You didn't set a fire, did you? There was a house on fire. Well, you might have set the house on fire.
Can it smell my tunic for smoke? Kind of smells like...
Make a perception check.
Oh no.
Yes!
No.
Oh, Good.
Blame it on someone
else. 21.
21. It definitely does not smell like smoke or fire or anything like that. It smells a little damp. Like water or sweat in the clothes.
Oh no. Gross. I don't think so.
Okay, that's good.
Kuzney must have taken us both. I don't know what he did with her.
Why would he take her?
I didn't recognize her, but she was able to give me a message somehow. And I think I knew her once. She was of my tribe. She tried to help me when I was taken by Kuzney. And for her troubles, she's been in that wheelchair since. I don't know what he's done with her this time. You did not feel anything else. You felt only the water and nothing.
No. No, I heard no voices, I heard nothing.
I'm gonna take out the slightly cracked thing. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Can I take a look at it?
Yeah, take a look over it. Make an Arcana check.
I rolled anyways without you asking. I apologize. That's a 9.
9. You look it over and there's nothing inside it that looks like something you've seen before, really.
Oh, okay. I do not recognize this. This is what the
It's also a little difficult to see inside with the crack, with the way it's sort of smashed.
It looks broken.
Frustrating. This is how she gave me the message. I heard it when I put
okay.
these two halves together.
Fascinating. And Orba's like kind of intrigued at just a cute little magic item.
Put it back away for now. I need to find her again. If you hear anything, let me know.
Of course.
I'm sorry that I left you there. Did not mean to.
That's okay.
I defied him multiple times.
Oh. Okay. So, because she tried to end your relationship with...
She tried to give me a message.
Right, no, but before, when you were at your tribe, she tried to do something to your Kuzney and she was injured because of that?
When he took me,
Yeah.
she tried to stop him.
You see, like, some fear enter Orba's eyes. How does he know that people have been trying to do things?
What do you mean?
Well,
He's a god.
yeah. Okay. See, I went to the church and I talked to the god of death to see if I could kill him. I didn't get an answer though.
You spoke to the gods.
Well, I prayed. My beseechery worked this time. I'm sorry.
Don't be. I don't know how safe it is for us to talk about this for much longer, but
Okay.
suffice it to say that I have been trying to sever my connection with him.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh my god! Stop it. Please, Graven. Please.
9.
You hear kind of a thunderous crack, almost like a dry lightning, as and Graven drops to the ground.
Oh my god. Is he conscious?
Is he the only one that
You
hears
can
this?
check. The only one who could hear the sound, yes. And you guys are walking ahead.
I like go to stabilize him. Like I lift up his head.
Make a medicine check.
20.
And you go and you sort of you feel it, and he's conscious and breathing, and you sort of hold his head and you kind of place your hand on him and you hold him up a little bit, and you see his eyes kind of flicker just back into consciousness, and you come back into consciousness now, lying on the ground.
Graven. Graven.
And you guys are just inside the city walls, and a couple people of the city watch come running over. You're right.
I'm fine.
Do we notice that commotion behind us?
Make a perception check. Both of you can make it, yeah.
My God.
I'll even have Yannick make.
17.
Yeah, so like I said, you couldn't hear the sound, but you do hear the sort of rattling of some armor as a couple guys run over, and you see a couple people converging on Graven, who's now like just starting to sit up on the ground.
I'm gonna run over. Yeah, I'm gonna run over.
What's going on?
And you hear Yannick kind of, what? And he watches you guys go on.
It's nothing.
You're right.
It's nothing.
He's okay. He's
Leave
okay.
me.
He's just had nothing to eat today.
Hang on. What the fuck is going on?
Safira,
Yes.
calm
Relax.
down.
He hasn't eaten much today. He just fainted. It's okay.
I have bread in my bag. And I take it out and I give it to him.
I'm gonna just stand back a little bit and wait for
I
if
got it.
anyone's
Fire away.
around. I'm gonna wait for them to kind of leave.
Okay, they haven't. Yeah,
yeah,
there's
I
two
know,
members
I
of the
know,
city.
yeah.
Thank you, but
It didn't look like fainting. You sort of collapsed.
yes, it's fine. Don't worry.
Low
I
blood
haven't
sugar.
eaten. I'll take a few bites of that.
Thank you for your concern, my friend.
Thank you,
But
sir.
I believe he's okay.
Well, get him something to eat and get some rest or something.
Of course. Yes, Graven. I keep
Gosh.
telling you, you got to sleep more.
I know.
Make a performance check, all of you.
Holy crap.
Wow, this is so good.
Oh no.
That freaking bread came in handy. Oh!
17.
13.
Wow, nice.
This is performance.
Yeah.
12.
7.
There it is.
They give a look around, and they see most of you seem to be. You're putting on a good face that this isn't the first time you've seen this, even though it is the first time you've seen this. That they kind of look around and they see that you guys seem to be under control, and they start to like get up and back. When they look at Beezaura, who's kind of.
Bread? Anyone bread?
But they slowly back up. All right, well, just be careful. All right.
Sir.
And they slowly start to. And now Yannick kind of. Is everything all right?
Yes.
Graven, what's going on?
Just felt a little faint. It's nothing.
Make a
Thanks.
deception check.
Oh, wow.
Jesus Christ.
15.
Yes.
Wow.
So Yannick kind of looks you over and.
Yes.
I'm just gonna kind of concentrate on the food for a minute.
You seemed rather exhausted when you came to the mortuary. Perhaps turn in early tonight. I appreciate you accompanying me, but I don't want it to come at the cost of your health if you don't feel like you have to come.
It's fine. As long as you don't need me to make a grand speech or anything.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
So you're coming.
All right.
Orba does her best to like grab one of his really big hands and pull him up off the ground.
Sure, and Yannick kind of places a hand on your back a little bit and he walks alongside you. So you're all kind of moving along. You're walking as a group. We're going to go back over to Erland for a second.
Oh my god, please.
And you've been stationed outside of the Natural Studies Institute.
How much time has elapsed roughly? Like, what time is
Well, we went back in time there a little
Okay,
bit,
great.
so now we're kind of... So you've been watching now for maybe 15, 30 minutes. You
Okay.
can stand, unless you wanted to do something in
No,
that time.
I'm just, I want to be aware of the time.
Yeah.
I don't want it to get too late.
Yeah, another 15 to 30, 15, 20 minutes have passed. And you don't see any activity except sort of you hear the gate creak open and you see Adam Deathan poke his head out. And he sort of opens the door and he looks around a little bit.
Am I concealed enough that I don't need to go anywhere?
You're far enough away,
Okay.
yeah. He sort of looks around a little bit. And he closes the door again, goes back inside. Are you doing anything?
Where was he looking?
around.
Just okay.
It's hard to tell.
I want to make very sure that I am hidden if anyone were to come out of that.
Make a stealth check. You can make it with advantage. You have some time here to find a good spot.
Bad roll. 11.
11. Oh, so there are some crevices and spots between buildings. It's going to be a trade-off between keeping a good eye and being concealed heavily. Because there's the traffic. It's not super late at night. So do you want to be in a spot that's less concealed, that has a very clear view of the door? Or do you want to be a little more concealed where it's harder to see any activity around the area?
I would like to be in a place that has a clear sight of the door, but has an easy escape route.
Okay.
If things
There's a spot between two buildings that you could go out.
So if things start to look a little dicey, I can.
Yeah, there's definitely a spot like that. Yeah, so you're not terribly concealed. People are definitely walking by in front of you. But yes, you could go the opposite.
Let's go
direction.
hood up too. Pop the hood up just to sort of conceal my face.
You can do so. How long do you want to wait here for?
I want to wait here until it's a little after 5 right now. Mm-hmm. The latest I want to. Where's the other place that I want to go later?
Setting a sundial.
Yeah. The latest I want to stay here is around 7:30ish.
Okay.
So I'm willing to wait here.
You're willing to wait there that long? Okay. So you find a spot, hood up, cross your arms, and you kind of lean back against the wall. Watch the activity around you. You take a look and you keep an eye on the door, and some time passes and people are moving in and out. And that's where we're going to take a break.
Oh my god.
Before we see if he spots anything, and before we
what you trying to
check
put
in on
7:30?
He's like, I'm gonna
and
stay
before we
here
check in on
forever.
the reservation
It's been a long hour and a half.
It
The dinner reservation.
I was like, Director of Reserves? That's not the name of the building.
Reservation for fun.
Yes,
Right.
they do have a reservation.
Oh, that'd be so nice.
We do. So
I
our
can't
friend
come.
keeps to it.
I'm busy.
So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna grab something to eat.
Yeah.
And we'll be back, and we'll.
Oh my
dive back into
god,
it.
stop it.
Dude.
Stop
Dude.
falling and getting kidnapped.
I can hear you.
I know.
He is you right now. He's like in your brain.
Kuzni's going the fuck.
Just walk and don't.
Fine, I won't talk to anybody ever again.
Thank you. That's all we ask.
Silence?
Kuzni's on my shit list.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be right back.
Dinner time.
We'll see what happens.
Everyone's shot.
We apologize for the technical difficulties. I don't know, kind of came out of nowhere. I'm glad it didn't happen during the actual events.
Thanks for
but
sticking with us.
It was
Yeah.
Koozni. Koozni did it.
He smoked the
Koozni killed the
stream.
stream.
Failed the
this point-
Constitution save.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, you guys.
But welcome back.
Everyone's going
Thank you
down.
for coming back and joining us and sticking with us. We're going to dive back in.
There we go. Where were we?
We were with Erland.
Oh shit, yeah.
Thank God.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's give everyone some time.
Smoking a cigarette, wearing a fedora.
Oh, I get to just.
Sticking it out till 7:30.
It's great.
So Erland remains there, outside of the Natural Studies Institute. And as more and more time passes, it crosses your mind that it seems unusual now at this point that no one else has entered or exited the Institute. Now, you've been here for long enough that you figure by chance an adept or someone of the City Watch, someone inquiring out a question might have come. And they haven't. Nobody goes inside the gates. City Watch still patrolling inside that inner sort of courtyard area. But other than Adept Ethan, nobody pokes their head. And then you hear the gate click open.
The front gate?
The front gate. And a tall man with a mustache comes out. And he stands at the foot and he kind of has a jacket. And he seems to be sort of straightening his jacket a little bit. And he looks around calmly. And he's alone. There's no one with him. And he steps down a couple of steps. And he starts to walk along the little gravel path out towards the outer gate.
Okay, is it conceivable that he could possibly see me lurking there?
There's people moving around.
Yeah.
If he was like, I wonder if anyone's watching me,
Okay.
maybe.
Would
But
he see my face if he based on the way I've hidden myself?
it depends on which direction he heads. He hasn't got, so he's gonna get
Okay.
up to the gate in a second.
Did any of the guards see him exit?
It's possible. Nobody acknowledged him.
Like, because there were guards walking
Yep.
around. Did anyone? Okay.
It's definitely there were guards to his left and right. No one like looked straight at him, but it's definitely conceivable that they saw him.
Okay. And he's a tall man with a mustache.
He is.
Okay. All right. Does he have any? From this distance, does it seem like he has any noticeable, like items on him? Large keychains, potential magic talismans, or anything like that?
Make a perception check with disadvantage.
Ooh.
Ooh. Cloak in his eyes.
7.
7. He does not have any items that stand out that are like off of his person, like a satchel or a weapon or anything to that effect. It's difficult to tell if he has any small items like in pockets or anything like that, but no noticeably large items at this distance.
Okay. What direction's he going? What's he doing?
How long do you want to wait? So he's getting up to the edge of the gate. He's sort of
Okay.
the gate's still open, the outer gates. He gets out. And he kind of moves, and it looks like he's headed in the general direction to the southwest, kind of towards the main square, maybe?
To the southwest. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh,
Like-
so the main square is like super close. Then,
Yeah. Oh, towards the right. Yeah, it's very close.
Okay, I'm gonna let him walk to where he wants to walk. I'm not gonna intervene or anything
Sure.
like that.
You trying to follow behind him?
He just keeps moving
He's just walking. Yeah. He doesn't seem to be concerned or.
from as far of a distance as possible. I would like to follow him. Like I don't need to hear what he's saying or even really see what he's doing.
Make a stealth check with advantage.
You don't want to follow him up his butt? You sure? You want to just...
That's a more
I'm
difficult stealth check.
Oh, I got a 21, so I probably could.
You go. Yeah.
Coat myself in lemonade.
Just slide right in there.
He's piggybacking. He's carrying you. Yes, you follow him. I mean, and again, there's people moving by. You sort of keep a decent distance, and you follow him through.
Nice to see
And he sort of gets to the main square area.
Can I check over my shoulder back to the door just as I'm following him to see if anyone else
Check,
is
take a
coming
look
in or
back.
anything?
No one's come out of the door.
Okay.
You're about to get to a point where you will no longer be
That's
able
fine.
to see it.
That's fine.
Great. And you continue to follow him. And he's just sort of moving through. He doesn't acknowledge anyone or talk to anyone. No one seems to acknowledge him in particular. And he walks alongside a few of the buildings in the main square. And he gets to a certain point, and he gives it a little quick look around. And then he sort of veers off a little. And now it's like, this is like just south of the sort of main square, underneath 8-7 there, kind of in that area, 6-7-8 on the map.
Okay.
And he's sort of walking through, and the streets are a little narrower here. It's a little quieter, but there's still people moving through here. And he looks like he's picked up his pace a little bit, and he seems like he's moving towards a particular point, but then he stops. And he looks. And you sort of try and take a peek at where he's looking, and it looks like toward this sort of back alley-ish area, there's 2 guards of the city watch, standing watch. Like there's an opening between 2 buildings that would veer off of the main square, but there's 2 guards of the city watch, like there with weapons, standing. And the lemonade man kind of looks, and he walks forward, and he's going to walk up to the 2 guards, and it looks like they're starting to have a quiet conversation. What are you doing?
Staying a far distance away.
Great. So the only thing that you can see or hear, you see him kind of point into the alley,
Okay.
and you see one of the city watch, and he kind of, and you see him turn and walk in another direction.
So it seemed like he tried to maybe go in, and the
Yeah, it
guard
seems
said,
like he was heading there, and the guard said, "Can't come in here at the moment.
Oh.
And he walks and starts moving in another direction.
Which direction?
Now he's sort of looping. Now he's sort of looping around behind.
Oh, what's that? What's that down there?
Yard sale. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, now he's kind of looping around behind where 7 and 8 are there. Sort of.
Sorry, I got distracted by.
It's okay.
making fun of me.
In sort of the southern moon area.
Okay.
Sort of behind 7 and 8 there. So he's moving behind the bobble shop and
The Witty Smitty.
Yeah, the Witty Smitty.
Okay.
Sort of moving in that, you know.
All right, I just want to.
It's not the main square, but it's.
I want to keep. I still want to keep a distance and follow him.
Sure, you do so. He continues to walk, and he seems to have slowed his pace now. It seems like he's sort of. He has his hands together, kind of wringing them together a little bit, and he seems to be thinking. And then he takes a hard left, and he goes behind another building, to his left.
Okay. Is there any way he saw me based on what I've seen him do in terms of where he's been looking?
I don't know that I can answer that.
No, like I mean, like did he ever turn around to even
No.
look at me? Okay.
No. You definitely did not notice him looking at you. No.
Great. Okay. I am going to wait. The building that he stepped behind, does it seem like that's another alleyway that could potentially lead somewhere
Seems like
else?
it's between two houses. Yeah, you can't see where it goes.
Okay. I'm gonna wait for from like the distance, like as soon as it happened, I'm gonna sort of stop.
Yeah,
and
you were probably 70 feet behind him or something.
assume a sort of again, just like sort of comfortable position that sort of hopefully blends in a little bit here, and wait. Let's start with 2 minutes and see what happens from there.
Nothing happens after 2 minutes.
Okay. I'm gonna wait. Additional 3 minutes. Now it's been 5 minutes.
Okay. You do so.
Very
not
on
emerge.
the clock.
Great. I'm
Very on the clock
gonna
this
walk.
episode.
I'm gonna just walk past where he was, and just as I go, just sort of like look in the alleyway and keep walking past
Sure,
him.
make a perception check as you're sort of walking by.
Perception?
Mm-hmm.
19.
19. So as you're walking by, you give it a quick look, and you get enough of a vision to see it's a narrow alleyway that looks like it's between two houses. So it would go between two houses, and then there's like it splits off at a T. I mean, at the end, it looks like you could go left or right. You don't see anything in that alleyway.
Okay. Is anyone in this alleyway, or?
No, it's fairly narrow. I mean, you don't have to like squeeze through it, but it's narrow, and there's no one in it.
Okay, I'm going to go into the alleyway. And
Oh
sort
my
of
God.
Stop. And because I saw no one, right? I want
You did
to
not.
sort of look into the alleyway a little more carefully this time, perhaps.
You can definitely look at. You don't see anything that you didn't see before.
Great. Are there any track? Is it so untrodden that that there would be foot tracks?
It's kind of the same material as some of the thoroughfare, which is like a cobbly, gravelly mixture. And it looks like you can see like at least a soft imprint of some footprints.
Okay.
Possibly his. It's hard to tell.
I am going to walk very quietly towards. You said it's like a straight T at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way to tell? Would I have lost track to sort of be able to figure out if, based on where he walked, if this is a possible way of looping into where he was trying to go? Is it possible to tell based on the geography?
You cannot tell from where you are right now. It's definitely possible. Like him taking a left into this alleyway, and then if he had taken a left at the end of this T, it would head back towards where he was trying to get to.
Okay,
originally.
great. So I'm going to very quietly walk to the edge of the T, and I want to be on the wall closest to the left turn.
Sure. Make a stealth check.
Good lord, Erland. Oh,
I honestly can't tell this cocked. I'll take it. It's not great. 11.
No, you're good. It's okay.
So you're moving through here, and it's out of the quiet it's out of the noise of the streets. So you can definitely hear your footprints, and there's no way you can really mask it. It's it's making sort of a even if you walk slowly, it does make a little bit of a gravelly sound.
Do I hear anyone or anything in this alleyway?
Are you getting all the way to the end? Can't hear anything yet.
Okay. I want to keep walking until I definitely don't want to turn the corner, but I want to keep walking unless I hear something, in which case I want to stop.
Okay. You move. And you start to hear what sound like voices.
I'm gonna
Very
stop.
quiet.
can I identify who the voices are?
One of the voices at least has a distinct enough timbre that it sounds like the man that you were in Vaclav's house with. It sounds like the same voice. It's hard, you can't tell what he's saying, but it does sound like
Okay, does it sound far away?
No.
Like right on
It does
the
not
other
sound
side?
right around the corner, but it doesn't sound like, it's like,
Okay.
I mean, you're totally guessing distance.
Echoey
It doesn't sound
streets,
like he's
yeah.
right around the corner.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure that, like, if I were to be right there, he couldn't just grab me, basically.
No, it doesn't sound that way.
Great. I'm going to walk to the very edge of that T on the left wall.
Okay.
And I want to stop at the edge of that and see if that's gotten me close enough to hear anything.
It has not.
Okay. What's down the right side? Because if I'm on this wall, I assume I can
You can see a
it.
little bit further
Yeah.
down. It does look like it goes into someone's backyard, kind of. There's no one in there, but it seems like there's like a stone-lined, like a little garden area where some tall flowers and plants are.
How many voices?
It sounds like 2.
Okay. Both male voices?
It's hard to tell that from here.
Is there a way for me to, I don't know what this hood looks like, is there a way for me to peer around the corner without revealing my face?
So that you could just listen is what you're saying?
So that I can, I'm not going to be able to, I want to see what's around the corner, but I don't want to reveal my face. I want to know if that's possible based on my perspective. If it was like a really big hood,
His ears.
That's
His
face
head.
totally concealed but still able to
not
see?
totally
Put my
obscured
eyeballs
from a
in my
distance.
hands.
You know what I
It's
mean?
gonna pop him out.
Or like if I put up like a part of
Put
me,
him on the
like I
wall.
could
Like
conceal
on the
part
walls.
of it.
But your head would still poke out.
I just don't want I don't want them to be able to like pick me out of a crowd. Is basically what I'm saying.
Sure.
Sock on your head.
Well, no, but like if I pull my sort of cloak around and they just reveal my eyes, they wouldn't be able to tell that like I was an elven male and
Yes,
like,
yes, sure. You could pull your clothes in a way that they couldn't see your exact appearance. They would definitely see that someone was there.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with them seeing a person
Yes.
there potentially.
Yep, definitely.
I want to try and do it as quietly as possible, maybe so they can't see me. We'll see.
Make a stealth check.
9.
9. Start to move around. And you have your, is it like a coat, you have your robe pulled up a little
I have my
bit?
rope pulled up, and I just
And your
want
hood
to
up.
peer, and I just want to peer my head so they can't get a good look at the like bulk of my body. So they're just gonna see like a hood and maybe some eyes.
Sure.
They're gonna see me.
You take a little step, and you poke out just enough, and you see,
Oh, he was close.
nope, he wasn't particularly close. He's about 50 feet away from you.
Oh, but he's just looking at me and waving.
Yep.
And it's the mustache guy.
Yep.
Who's he talking to?
It's not someone you recognize.
Great. I'm gonna lean back and I'm gonna run.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
And I am going to run into. The town square is gonna be the busiest place in the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna run into the town square.
As soon as you burst out from the kind of where you entered into that alleyway, there are some people moving and stuff. So you come out and you immediately start to like quickly walk through, and you pass by the bauble shops on your right. You're kind of passing by that, and you get out into the square, and there's people moving around.
Okay.
You're so fucked.
Popping the hood down.
Sure.
And can I sort of check over my shoulder, see if anyone followed me?
Sure. Make a perception check.
9.
No one that you notice.
Okay. I am going to.
And you hear kind of the chatter of the main square, and it's still fairly busy in here. It's not dark enough that business is like slowed to a halt. There's people moving about.
Are there any stores I haven't gone into? I'm going to start window shopping. I know I've been into Trick-or-Treat. I know that the Hazen Things is there. There's the Smitty.
Yeah, I think you've been to all the like proper shops here. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go into Hazen Things.
Okay. You see all the
Hazen
signs kind of
Things,
as
yeah.
you're passing through, the signs on your left and right. And it seems like one guy has like a backpack that's sort of full of picks and shovels and things that seems to be coming from Hazen Things that may have just shopped there. He's got like a big bag and he's sort of moving his way out. And you're going to enter? So you go in?
Yeah, I'm going to go in.
You open it up. And immediately Hayes is sort of in the middle of sort of cleaning up some dirt that's on the floor. Oh, hello?
Excuse me. Yes.
Shoes off if you don't mind.
All right. take my shoes off. Based on now, I'm gonna just sort of start looking around, just window shopping.
Please have a look around.
As
And
I'm
there are 2 other people in here.
great. Do I recognize them? Or?
No.
As I'm looking around, based on the lemonade man staring and waving at me, could he conceivably, if he like even saw me with my cloak down, would he be able to be like, yeah, that's your hood?
Your
Or is it like
outfit
generic enough?
Your outfit's not that noticeable.
Okay, it is Safira's cloak.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice cloak, but it's not marked.
Okay,
It
so
doesn't have, like,
great.
It's like a nice gray cloak. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna spend 5 minutes just looking around. Maybe check out the window, see if anyone's. Oh, there's stuff in his window. Does he have windows in the store?
Yeah, there's windows.
Good. Can I look into the stuff in the window and maybe look out the window and see if anyone's.
Make a perception check as you're window shopping.
16.
16.
As you're
You sort of are going through. There's like a set of series of knives that are in this like rack, and you're sort of picking one up and kind of inspecting it while also keeping an eye out on the window. And they seem to be like, a series of hunting knives in case you need to whittle or carve or hunt. And you take a peek out the window, and you don't see anybody outside that's like coming towards Hayes and things.
Great. Did when I peeked around the corner, was it long enough that I maybe saw wind chimes or a well?
You did not see either of those things.
Okay.
It was still pretty narrow. They were still in. It had not opened up or anything. It was 2 people sort of. One was leaning against the wall behind him, and the tall man with the mustache was standing talking to him.
And did I get a look at anything about what the other guy was wearing at all, or?
What he was wearing, yes. He looked like he was a tiefling man. That was easy to identify.
Okay.
Because he had a tail. And he looked like he was wearing sort of functional hunting gear. He had a bow on his back. And it looks like he had some rudimentary leather armor. No markings or anything in particular that caught your eye immediately. You only got a quick look. So.
Okay. Great. So after spending 5 minutes window shopping, I'm gonna. Nothing today. Thank you.
Oh, anytime.
Pop my shoes back on. Walk out. Look around at a couple other. Maybe look at the blacksmith's window a little bit, and work my way back to the alley with the guards.
Okay.
Does it seem, based on Wesley's direction, based on... It's an alleyway, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Is it seem like the alleyway that Wesley described to us?
He did not describe it to you. Did Orba relay that to you?
Which
Did you relay... Wesley told you about the alleyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you relay that information
Oh,
to
yes.
Erland and Graven?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you...
To all detail.
Okay. Yes, it does seem like that's the alleyway.
Great. Good.
Oops. Sorry. That's why we tell each other stuff.
Try. Okay.
I tried.
You did try, and your god did not like it.
Is it strange that there are guards here at an alleyway? Is that a weird thing?
I mean, there's guards about town. It would be
But like
hard.
guarding a random alleyway? Is that strange?
Maybe.
Okay.
That's hard to answer.
I'm gonna go up to one of the guards and just sort
Sure,
of...
and they're both kind of stationed there, and they don't seem to be like at attention. They're kind of like relaxed. It seems like they're
What's the fuss?
I found a body back there.
Mike, of who?
Haven't identified it yet. It's cut up pretty good.
Cut up?
Yeah, it was in the well back there. Seemed like the decay had eaten at it.
Oh, so perhaps a murder that happened some time ago.
It's possible. It's hard to tell with the bloating in the body.
My goodness. Is there any... Who discovered the body?
Not sure. Skits sent us here to make sure nobody goes back there until he takes a look.
Oh, Skits hasn't made it here yet.
Huh?
Did this just happen then?
It was discovered earlier today.
And you don't know who discovered it?
It must have been one of the citizens. They might be over at the reservation center.
Is that a residential alleyway or?
Yeah, there's a couple of backyards back there that all meet together.
My goodness. All right. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, just don't go back there.
Seems very dangerous. No, thank you.
He sort of acknowledges you.
Okay. All right. What time is it?
It's at 5:45.
5:45? Oh, okay. He said the reservation center, or he said the reservation.
Who said the reservation?
The guard said there might be a witness at the reservation.
Yeah, he said that you could check at the reservation center. Yeah, that if there was any info.
In that case, I am going to start making my way to the reservation center.
Okay.
Are there any? There's no torches. It's not dark yet. Okay.
No. It's starting at the very start of, getting darker, but yeah, it's not like people don't have lamps and torches lit yet.
Okay. Going back to the reservation center is near.
It's not far.
Yeah, but it's near the Natural Studies Institute, right?
It's very close.
So I'm just going to walk past the Natural Studies Institute as I do that. Are people still not coming?
That would be, you'd be looping. That's past where you are. So you're...
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm fine. It looks like it's a 1 block loop away, yeah? I just want to, pop back and see if people are still not entering and exiting.
Great. So you head back in that direction. We're going to go over to the rest of the group who's walking through. Now sort of in this sort of uncomfortable clump of people. They're not carrying Graven, but people are sort of... We're walking slowly and making sure that he's...
Can I just...
levitating a little bit.
Please, I don't need any more attention than I already bring. I thank you, but...
All right.
It's enough.
I don't know if there's a way for me to try to make him notice this, but I'm I'm shooting daggers at him. I'm glaring at him.
I'm not really looking anybody in the eyes.
How about we keep moving so we can get this task done?
Yes.
I agree.
Hopefully you'll see us quickly and then you can get some rest.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Make your way there. And the reservation center at this hour is bustling with activity. One of the double doors is open, and peering inside, you can see scribes working diligently that looks like they're almost working to catch up on lost time, possibly brought by the midday fire that brought productivity to a halt. Yannick had told you that they shut down the center while the guards went and attended to it, and now they're all back. They're trying to make up the work from the day. And standing Sergeant Uriel is there. He doesn't clock you guys immediately as you sort of approach the stairs and the entrance. He's currently talking down a frustrated citizen who has a sort of tense jaw, and he's trying to do his best to maintain his composure. I have been patient, Uriel. This meeting has been rescheduled 4 times, and I would think this would be of great interest to Cedric in particular. And you hear Uriel respond back to him. The director will see you when he is able. The day's events have thrown everyone's schedule into a state of disarray, and the director is no exception. This is not a personal slight against your station. Well, it's starting to feel a little personal. And maybe I'm tired of keeping it bottled up until Cedric sees fit to grant me an audience. Maybe I start shouting it from the rooftops. And you see Uriel get close to the man and sort of stand up straight. You do that, and you'll get your meeting with Director Skits. But it won't be the kind of meeting that you're hoping for. And you see the man, they sort of are close to each other, and they look at each other. And the man stands down and gives Uriel kind of one last look. And then he starts to walk back out towards the door.
And we're at the door?
Yeah, you guys are walking up towards the door.
Is he coming out?
Yeah, he now looks like he's exiting.
Can I stop him?
Sure.
Sir,
Yes.
what's going on? They won't see you.
No. They're very busy in there. He starts to walk.
What? Is something the matter that everyone should know about?
He looks back in towards, and you can see Uriel, who now has kind of a book in his hand, kind of look up and kind of look over at the man. No, everything's fine.
Sure.
And he starts to walk. And you guys move in, and there's quite a bit of activity in here. The scribes are hard at work. There's a lot of people taking books off, opening them, double-checking them, and closing them up, putting them up on the thing. It doesn't seem like there's a lot more people in here, maybe a couple more than the first time that you came in, so... And you guys start to move in.
Who's leading this meeting here?
I'll see what I can do.
And Yannick sort of walks. And Uriel catches a glimpse of him, and you can immediately see Uriel sort of... And he puts down a quill and closes a book, and Yannick walks up to him. And Uriel speaks first, even though it looks like Yannick was about to address him. I am sorry to inform you, Gravekeeper, that the director is not yet ready to receive you. And Yannick goes up, and in a calm, sort of reserved manner, he puts his hands together.
I have taken every step that you have asked of me, Uriel. I did not bother Skits until I believed that it posed a threat to our citizens. I took it upon myself to file the contract looking for assistance all by myself. I put my own safety and the safety of these brave,
And he motions to you guys.
these brave few at risk so I could be sure that something was wrong. And now I come to you with proof and corroboration,
And again, he motions to you.
and I'm telling you,
And he gets close to Ariel.
that we have significant cause for alarm. I need to talk to Cedric.
And Ariel listens to him for a moment. And it seems like he's about to open his mouth, and he doesn't give any sense that he's relenting. And he seems like he's about to open his mouth. And you hear a voice.
Let him in, Uriel.
And you see Cedric Skents emerging from the back corner where you guys walked back to his office. He looks visibly weary. And he's putting on an air of confidence as he's sort of trying to keep everything together at the reservation center. And he's tying his hair back into a ponytail, sort of long, dark hair. And he sort of straightens his pale yellow doublet a little bit.
They can come too. I assume they're with you. Yes, they are. Sora, let them back.
And he turns.
After you.
I'm gonna glare Uriel down as I pass by him.
He doesn't even acknowledge you, really. He goes right back to sort of his work. You guys follow?
Of course.
Remind me what race Cedric Skents is, just so I'm picturing him.
Skents is a man.
Okay.
He's a human.
Thanks.
Oh, he's bad.
Fuck you.
And he leads you back down this narrow hallway that, so everyone except Orba's been here before? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm new. No, you weren't.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
bad,
you
yeah,
were,
yeah,
yeah.
but
Uh-huh.
Erland
I
also wasn't.
I
Oh, I
but
get
he's
it,
not
I
I'm
here.
also
yet.
not there.
He's not
Yeah.
there. So it leads you down this narrow hallway, and there's sort of a curve at the end of it, and it leads into this office. It's pretty tidily kept, even at this point. It looks that the room doesn't look terribly different than the first time you were here, except that there's quite a few extra seats, and they're mismatched. There's some kind of stools and things that don't look like the chairs that he had you sit in originally. It looks like he's needed to address a bigger audience back in his office, so they've brought in these extra chairs. And he's still got his sort of war trinkets that are displayed in these glass cases on the walls. Everything seems to be pretty much in order. It doesn't look like it's been ravaged or in disarray, just that he's been seeing a lot of people.
I'm sorry it's a little crowded in here. There should be enough seats for everyone at least. Looks like you brought the cavalry, eh, Cameron?
And Yannick kind of...
My intention was not to ambush you, Cedric. Merely to emphasize my concern, and if necessary, recall additional details as they were present in areas that I was not. All right. Have a seat, everyone.
Thank you.
And he looks at Orba.
Director of Reserve, Cedric Skits.
Orba, and she like,
He gives you a good sort of hearty handshake.
yeah, hers is like a dead fish.
Ew.
Oh, come on.
It's been an absolute mess of a day since the sun came up. But I'll hear what you got to say. Hopefully we can make it quick.
And Yannick sort of...
Thank you. As I mentioned before, I feared the restlessness of the spirits in the graveyard would lead to a further complication. This group responded to my call for aid and provided protection as I performed a ritual, and I was able to ascertain the cause of their distress.
You see Cedric sort of... He'd heard the first part about the spirits and sort of the plea for help, but he sort of perks up a little bit at hearing that there might be some additional details.
All right. Now, there are vapors seeping into the ground, but we don't know the source. It's causing the undead great distress. I've already contacted Pavo McManus,
And you see Cedric nod. He seems to know who that is.
about organizing some small excavations in the hopes that we might get an idea of where the vapors are coming from. But I humbly request that some of the city's resources pay for these digs. And also to bring in some experts from Tuktu. Perhaps some additional security on the north end of town. I'm thinking that we could set up a I'm gonna stop you there, Cameron.
Director, this man has already paid with more than any man could. The cost that has been to even just get the information that he has.
I believe that. I do, right? Me and Cameron go back a long way. I'm not saying he's not telling the truth. But today, I've been hassled about some trouble happening in the outskirts. I've had unpleasant appeals meetings, not that they're ever pleasant. Somebody's apparently missing from the Natural Studies Institute. An arsonist torched a house nearby. Oh, and you might have noticed a little more fuss because it was reported that a body was discovered in the Sun District. Don't know who it is yet. So,
A body.
yes, we don't know who it is. Look, maybe we can circle back to that. Focus for a minute and understand that there are real threats all over the place, and I've got to manage them. And right now, some of them are turning up dead bodies and missing citizens. And right now, the only people that have been affected by the spirits are the ones who went looking for them. Huh? Am I wrong?
And Yannick sort of...
Well, no, you're not wrong. But it could get worse. I know, I get that, yeah? But right now, I have to focus on the problems that are the most urgent. And right now, it's not this.
This will come back to haunt you.
It's just not a good time to be spreading my reserves thinner than they already are. I commend your bravery, I really do. As far as I can tell, like I said, it's only affected you. And what reason do we have to believe that it's going to get worse?
Is it men? Is it numbers? Is it gold? Can you at least give him monetary resources?
No.
If we can get Pavo to come in and dig up some of the ground, maybe we can just figure it out for ourselves.
But why do you think it's going to get worse? Why? Spirits have appeared before, yeah?
And he sort of appeals to Yannick.
Yes, that they have. So maybe it'll all pass, yeah?
Problem, Skits.
Huh?
It'll all pass. Does that seem likely to you?
Like I just said, it's not the first time spirits have appeared.
So
what makes you
you're
think...
choosing to ignore this?
And there's no reason other than I've got other more pressing matters. I'm not trying to blow you off, Cameron.
And he sort of looks at Yannick.
I know. At the very least, given the upheaval in the cemetery, could you spare a few men just to watch the perimeter tonight? It's the first dark since the ritual, and I would rather be overly cautious than bury an innocent person.
That seems more than reasonable.
The outskirts of Mukmu are technically under the jurisdiction of the city, up to a point, right? Listen. Which means that the reserves are required to look into any serious and credible accusations of misconduct. Now, with so much going on right now, I'm not terribly keen to send members of my watch hours outside the city for something that could be little more than due diligence.
5 men.
5 men for what?
To watch.
To watch what?
What he asked.
I'm getting to that, yeah? If I officially sanction you all for the evening, you go, report and come back. It's likely nothing, and that'll free up some people to watch the graveyard.
Will we have to go through Uriel again, or can we report directly to you?
You can report directly to me.
And what if these things start occurring in the Sun District?
Is that likely to happen?
Yes.
Make a deception check.
I don't think I'm lying, but okay.
You definitely don't know that.
No, I
That's
don't.
the problem.
10.
He looks at you and kind of...
Yeah, well, the Sun District is as far from the graveyard as it can possibly be, so I think we'll see it coming, no?
With all due respect, sir, we've been traveling for quite some time, and we've possibly encountered these vapors in the ground before, and when they have been, it has been in nicer areas of towns, specifically Oranchupa. And in those towns, sometimes null witherlings occur, and other kinds of undead.
Is it true, Yannick?
This is news to Yannick as well.
Yes, it is. So, is there reason to believe that they might just appear in the Sun District?
Yes.
I don't know, but if they have reason to believe that, why do you think that?
We've encountered this before.
Where?
There was a home in Oranchupa. It was in the nicer area. And in that home, we found...
Spirits.
No, well... We found a machine
What
that
are
was...
we doing here? No spirits! Not what you've seen here. And you expect when you believed it, it's just popping up over the city.
We found undead and ankegs, and also a machine that was pumping some kind of mist into the ground. Is that not enough for you? Are
You
we
found
not
one of
seeing
those machines
coincidences?
here?
No, but you're not exactly giving us the resources to look.
Administrative Facade of Oranchupa, a powerful wizard, was killed.
Yeah, I know for sure. He was
died.
killed by ghosts.
Yes, he was killed by undead.
He was killed by undead, yes.
Make a deception check.
He was killed by the
He was killed by the ankeg.
19.
19.
Facade, huh?
I don't know whether he could have taken previous action, but I know that he...
Look, it was only just now that we learned that the vapor was related to the undead. But seeing now that the two are related, I think it's impossible to deny the connection. It seems too big a coincidence, don't you think?
If this is allowed to go on unchecked, the entire city could be in danger as soon as this night.
Bare minimum. What do you need? Some men to guard the graveyard. And I think it's very important that we get an expert in these matters to tell us exactly what's going on. So, we're gonna pay to, what, bring someone in from another city? Yes, that is the plan. I'd like to send for Dr. Artemis Vettel. Yeah, unknown. Well, it's gonna be at least 2 days before he even gets here, so what's your plan until then? Have men posted at the graveyard until we can be sure that it's safe. Alright, fine.
Thank you.
You won't regret this.
How many are you willing to sacrifice for us?
I'll send 3 up there.
Better than nothing?
Look, we appreciate it. It's the right thing.
I hope so. Like I said, we found a dead body, and we don't know whose it is.
Do you know how he died?
No, we're looking into it, and I wouldn't tell you if I did know. No offense.
Well, you know, one of our party members is missing. I would like to know at least what the race of this person is.
When did you last see your friend?
Earlier this afternoon.
Then it's not him.
Oh, it's an old body.
Yeah,
Ugh.
Do you know if it's a man or a woman?
it's a man. I can't tell you much more until we know exactly what we're dealing with.
That's alright, we understand.
Anything else?
You said there was a missing person from the Natural Studies Institute?
Yeah, and he sort of takes a paper that's on his desk. Adept Melody
I don't know.
Who reported her missing?
One of the other adepts, I think. She didn't show up for work this morning.
That's odd. She didn't just go on a vacation or something?
I don't think people just do that without any kind of notice, no.
No, that's true. Okay.
And this trouble you mentioned in the outskirts?
Oh, now you care about the trouble in the outskirts. Yeah. What do you want to know about it? It's a pain in my ass right now, is what it is.
What kind of trouble?
A few days ago, a woman turned up dead in the outskirts. Not a name I recognize, but apparently popular with the locals, right? Marissa Everett.
And at this, you can see Yannick sort of. There's a wave of recognition kind of washes over his face.
Take a look at it, Yannick.
Yeah.
Give him an eye.
She was found dead at a diner called the Tackle Shack. Not a scratch on her body. And those who knew her well thought there was some kind of foul magic at play. But we didn't really have the evidence to support it. Took a look. Couldn't find anything. Now, I didn't find out this morning that they actually had someone in mind as the culprit. They left that part out, see? Looking to administer their own brand of justice, I imagine. The outskirts fend for themselves. They sent 5 men to track down this, he looks at a paper again, Yvonne, who they'd seen arguing with Marissa. Frequently outside the diner. Yvonne denied it. It said that the arguments had been about Marissa dabbling in necromancy, and she doubled down on the lie. Claimed that the night before Marissa was found dead, she'd seen a group of elves emerging from the Tackle Shack, and with her ability to detect magic, she knew it was a disguise, said it was undead creatures who'd come to, I don't know, punish her for her necromancy. 5 men were found dead on the backhand road along the Pucara, and Yvonne's nowhere to be found, so you can see why Yvonne's story kind of smells like bullshit.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I can.
Yvonne was the one attacked by the 5.
No, the 5 men went to go get Yvonne. Confronted her, thought she was the trouble. Yvonne said that she would go find these, I don't know, undead creatures. But the 5 men turned up dead. No sign of Yvonne.
Interesting.
So we've locked up the Tackle Shack. It's procedure till we locate a family member or auction off the property. But the locals want another official examination. Now they're worried that this, I don't know, Yvonne is running loose, killing people at will. They're looking for a motive or something, I don't know. It's a couple hours, hour and a half on horseback outside the city, so it's difficult for me to send men who I need here that far outside the city.
Huh. Yeah, I can
Sounds like a lot
understand
on your
that.
plate.
Yeah, it is.
Look, if we can be of any assistance.
Well, that's what I was going to propose before you all had a little fit in my office here. Hold that thought. I was going to propose that you go and take a look under official writ of the Office of the Reserves. And in doing so would free up some more of my men and some more resources to watch the graveyard or whatever.
You want us to investigate her murder?
No, I just want you to go and find out if there's any reason to believe that either her story's true or that if it's bullshit.
We would.
An hour and a half.
Well,
Tonight or tomorrow?
Yeah, tonight.
That is your call, you guys. I have dinner plans.
Alright.
I need to at least take a rest before I go anywhere.
You've already got your couple of men for the graveyard, so I won't blame you if you say no.
What time is it now?
6?
Yeah, 6-ish.
look, I think one of us should go down there.
I think
2.
I can take a short rest in like a half an hour. An hour?
I'd be willing to go with you if you want to rest first.
If I can rest, we leave at 7.
Well, then that means we should go now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
And get you some rest.
We'll go. At least the three of us.
And he at this, he like honestly seems a little surprised, given that he already kind of agreed to.
Well, I would appreciate that. I'll send word for this Dr. Artemis, whatever. We'll see if we can get him here.
And Yannick sort of at this kind of perks up a little bit.
I appreciate that, Cedric. Thank you.
And then he says,
I don't want Yannick to go with you. He's got to stay at the graveyard, see? I don't want my men out there without knowing what they're dealing with.
Understood.
and Yannick kind of looks to you.
Thank you. I'm sorry to put you in this position.
Look, Mr. Skents, if I may. The last place we went, where we found these, vapors in the ground.
Yeah?
Look, it behooves you to get ahead of it. First of all, and secondly...
And how do I do that exactly?
I say the first thing, you have to look underground. If someone's pumping vapors into the ground, if someone's manufacturing something, or I don't know what, and you don't know it, you need to know it, and you need to know it now.
Make a persuasion check.
Yeah. Yeah.
15.
15.
You said you talked to Pavo?
And Yannick's
Yes, he's gonna meet me tomorrow. Go get him now. We'll start digging.
It's an excellent call.
Also, Mr. Skents, if my hypothesis is correct, and it could be wrong, powerful people might have an interest in placing these vapors in the ground. So if I were you, I'd be careful. I might not trust everyone you work with.
What do you mean?
I mean, in my experience, people keep secrets. Especially when it comes to this in particular, it seems.
You got one of my men in mind?
I don't know you know your men better than I do. What I'm saying is
I do.
Look, I think blind trust, while admirable, is ill-advised.
Thanks for the warning. I think if we continue this conversation, we're only likely to get on each other's nerves.
Mm-hmm. Before we go, sorry.
Yes?
Do you have any advice for us when we head out there today?
There's one of my men already stationed out there. He hasn't taken a look inside. He's just in charge of making sure that no one comes in or out, breaks into the place. His name's Kaysen. He'll be standing guard there, so just let him know. And I'm gonna give you this. And he opens up a drawer, and he's got like a little, you can see the lettering on it, looks like an official document that he sort of takes a little stamp out that he sort of presses in to a little seal. He picks it up and he holds it out. He hands it over to you, and it's basically it's sort of denoting you as an official the eyes of the reservation center for a period of time. It's dated. It says over the next 12 hours or so that you have permission from the city.
Thank you.
That'll get you in. And like I said, we gave it a quick look over, but if you find anything, let us know.
Right. I'm gonna roll it up and stick it in the tray.
You okay?
Anything else?
We appreciate your time, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry I yelled.
Alright.
I'm gonna kind of walk towards the door, and I'm gonna open it for everyone. I know this is weird, but I'm gonna open it for everyone kind of to leave.
Sure. Yannick gets up.
Thank you, Cedric. Yeah, alright, Cameron, yeah. And next time, don't bring everybody, yeah?
Cameron.
Yes.
He nods.
If we discover anything, are we allowed to come back in and see you?
Yeah, show, Uriel the writ on your way out.
Got it.
Alright, I leave.
You leave.
So I'm
Everyone
holding
has
the
a-
door, and
Yep.
I'm just gonna give him like a look before I leave,
A
Still
wink.
sitting at his desk.
and just kind of nod to him. She loved that nod. Well.
You want to give him a deep bow while you're at it? You like those too.
Close your eyes.
Did you want to talk to him, or you just wanted to?
Yeah, I'm trying to like. Can I just kind of with my mouth just say, like mouth the word Uriel, like mouth that at him?
Sure, make a performance check.
Just say with my mouth.
Oh,
There's the old performance check.
Zero.
So he
How
sees.
many do you do? That are
She like does something and he's like,
He sees you're holding the door, and you're kind of doing it as you're moving, and you kind of. you sort of.
Oh my god.
he's like,
I'm a freak. Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna leave.
Oh my
Goodbye.
she just eat some peanut butter? Like,
And you close the door behind you.
It looks like I had a small stroke.
Bald elf was new by me.
Stop trying to perform shit,
I'm
please.
so bad at it.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's like your third that one performance check.
I think it's my fourth.
Probably.
And you guys get back out into the main area where the scribes are out there hard at work. And Uriel kind of spots you as you're coming back out. And Yannick kind of is moving quickly, and he turns to you sort of on his heel.
I'm gonna go straight over to Pavo's place so we can get started on the digging. Again, I can't thank you enough. And good luck.
of course, it's been our pleasure. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you for your help.
He turns and he sort of walks quickly ahead of you.
Show Uriel writ.
I pull it out.
And Uriel's kind of in the middle of writing something.
Girl,
Yes.
we're going up to the outskirts.
Yes. Cedric was looking for someone to do that.
If we have anything, we'll be back.
All right. Make sure to have it with you, and you'll be allowed to go in.
Of course.
As I'm walking past like the desks with the scribes on it, can I like take little peeks at what the scribes are writing? It, like just out of my field of vision.
Sure, are you looking for anything specific? Because you can clearly see they're writing names and numbers. I mean, they appear
Oh,
to
it's
be
all.
doing.
It's,
Yeah, they appear
they're
to
still
be,
doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is Uriel working on anything?
He's holding a ledger. He looks like he's looking through it, but he's not.
Warrants
He's
for
not like
arrest.
writing.
Okay, so there's nothing that I could take a look at when he's.
You'd have to be very close to him. Yeah, he's
Got it.
not. Yeah,
Okay.
he's like holding it up, sort of in front of himself. And are you guys moving? Where are you heading?
I need to go to the inn.
You guys are starting to kind of exit. You're sort of moving through the rows of tables that are set out with the scribes. And Beezaura feels a little
Oh boy.
kick on the side of her leg. And you look down, and you see a halfling scribe in one of the robes, and he sort of looks around, makes sure that Uriel is not watching.
From a recently incarcerated mutual friend.
Oh no.
And he slips a letter over to you. And he immediately goes back to writing.
And as we walk out first.
And you guys go out. You head back out into the main square. And it's at right about this time that Erland has made his way over to the reservation center.
I didn't see anything at the. I didn't notice anything at the Natural Studies Institute in terms of.
You did not. No, you did not see anyone enter or exit the institute. As you just walked briefly by. You didn't stop and wait.
No, yeah, I just wanted to walk past and see if
Yep.
it was like.
No, nothing
Cool.
else during your brief. And you see them exiting the building.
Do they see me?
Not yet. You're kind of more in the crowd. Yeah, you could avoid them if you wanted to.
I'm gonna see what they're doing.
Okay. What are you guys doing?
I need to go to the inn.
You should go get some rest. I'm going to see if I can meet Jillian early maybe and get it done.
Oh, right. So that you can still come with us? Oh, that would be nice.
Okay. I'll follow you to the inn.
So you see them
Are they-
having
they're
you
just
see them
talking?
having a quiet conversation.
Okay, I'm gonna-
sort of at the steps of the reservation center.
I'm gonna walk over.
Oh, Erland.
I thought you guys would be at the cemetery.
We were.
No, you're a bit late.
Yes,
think
I was running behind. Yes.
Everyone was a little late.
Yep.
Including Yannick himself.
I was there first.
What just happened?
Well, Yannick has finally met with Skits for the first time just now.
Okay, so I didn't miss anything.
Yep.
Well, I didn't miss anything at the cemetery.
No.
I suppose you're right.
So what did we miss, Erland? What have you been up to?
Now, Safira.
I thought I told someone I was going to help a poison man.
Yes, but I never believe you.
Oh well, that's your fault because I was helping a poison man named Volkov and his wife Nadoya.
How'd it go?
All right, what happened?
Anyway,
Why
we
were
have
you against it? Why-
we have a writ from the reservation center. We have all just been engaged to investigate the murder of Marissa south of the city.
Yes,
Hour and a half by horse.
By who?
Skins himself.
By Skins, the director.
Why? What did you tell him?
No, we didn't tell him anything. He actually volunteered it.
He stretched a bit thin, and we and Yannick convinced him to send a few men to the graveyard to keep an eye on that.
And let's be sure you are not confusing this with when we heard that the woman Yvonne was missing somewhere north of the entrance of the city.
Excuse me?
There's a missing lady named Yvonne, and there's 5 dead men outside the city.
Yes.
Yes.
I have a feeling I know where the missing woman Yvonne is.
Yes.
Right, but everyone
do not
here
know.
thinks that's involved with Marissa.
All right, can you...
Can we
where
just
are you
go?
going? Where are you going? Fill me in on the walk over wherever you're going.
I'm gonna go rest. You can talk to them.
This is excellent news. This gives us a reason to go to the tackle shack without any sort of suspicious...
Yes.
Exactly, Erland.
That's what we're trying to tell
It
you.
gives us a reason to go to the tavern.
Way to
Yes, that's what I'm
infer that
saying.
one.
Right, I'm not sure that you were part of the writ, actually.
I
Safira.
think it doesn't.
Are the names on the
matter.
writ then?
The more people, the better.
Are the names on the writ? Let's see the writ then.
I don't think so.
There
Beezaura,
are
show
no
it if
names
you
on the
want.
writ. We did not give our names.
Looks like you're 5th. Can you fill me in on the way to the inn? I would like a rest as well.
Sure.
I'm going to meet Jillian. You guys can go.
Orba. There's something I want you to ask her if you could.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
Come here.
Oh, okay.
Kind of pull her aside.
Are we on the way to the... Can we rest on... Can we short rest like on horseback if we're riding... No, not like that. No.
You could rest
Take
like in
me
the
back.
you could rest in the back of a carriage or something.
Yeah.
Not like riding on
Okay.
horseback. No.
And the horses are basically at the inn anyways.
Yeah, they're next. There's
Yeah,
a stable
great.
next to you. Yeah.
Okay. Can we be moving to the inn while this
Yeah,
is...
you can be walking. And Graven has pulled Orba
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
separate.
Ask her if she knows of any way to conceal yourself.
And by yourself, you mean...
One's self.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
To disguise yours.
No.
Nope.
No.
Don't know. Don't know. What do you mean? Circumvent as well as possible, Graven. I don't feel like picking you up off the ground.
As you understand, as you have probably inferred, there are certain things that I can't openly speak of.
Yep.
Perhaps she knows a way to do that.
For you to...
To speak openly.
Okay. Okay. I will try.
Thank you.
Of course. And she pats his big hand. Okay. I will.
All right, I'll
Please
get the
be
end.
careful.
Okay.
You guys start to move.
I'm kind of lagging behind so I can read this.
Sure.
And I get credits. I don't have to spend time reading. And I don't want it because I'm a slow reader.
Yeah,
so it's
that's
fine.
okay.
And I see what it says, obviously, and I'm like... And then I just fold it up and I go to stick it in my pocket.
I don't think that matters.
No. What do you mean?
Go ahead. No,
And then I realize...
make a perception check
Okay.
as you're sort of reaching your hand in.
16.
16 with the modifier.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember. I
you.
did. It's a +1.
So you sort of have a spot that you keep notes in, that you've had the same spot, and you go to slip it back in, and you realize that something's missing.
I'm like, I just hold this one. I'm like, and it's the same one, like all 3 times. I'm like, oh my god. And she just like walks. And she notices that it's missing.
Yeah.
like she's freaking out.
Do we see her freaking out? Like she's.
Are you trying
us?
to hide that?
Yeah, because I'm behind, so I'm just like.
Yeah, she's behind you guys.
And then in my head, I'm just trying to memorize all the things that were on it, and I'm like. And then looking at
Sorry,
all
what
of
was
them,
that?
looking at all of them,
What was that,
like
Beezaura?
if someone took it, like when would they have taken? And I just now I know it's just out there.
After he has dismissed me, I tug on Safira a little bit and pull her aside a little bit.
Every time we walk in.
I know.
You.
Yeah.
Look, I know it is strange hearing this from me, but I think you need to give Erland a little bit of a break.
Sorry.
I think you need to trust him a little. Please, for me.
What does he have you doing?
He's not making me do anything,
No, he's got
Safira.
you doing something. Him and Graven had you doing something.
Correction, Safira. I am my own person and I do the things that I want to do.
What did they ask you to do that you elected to do them?
They didn't ask me to
But
do
they did
anything.
ask
I
you to
think
do
of ideas and then I go do them.
That's okay.
But listen, I'm trying to say he's good, okay? And you have to he's a very curious person. I was right about that. But he's
Orba, listen. Nothing. I worry for your safety. It doesn't matter.
I know you do.
don't. It doesn't matter.
I know it comes from a good place, but if we are going to be on a scouting mission for the next couple of days, we need to start trusting each other and.
But I'm kind of where is Erland right now? Do I know?
You guys hung back. Yeah, he's probably walking in front.
So can I kind of shoot a look?
Talking to Graven.
Yeah.
It is.
What are they talking about? Do you
I'm
think?
sure they're just
Here's the
talking.
problem.
Did you try the blueberries? I heard the blueberries. Excellent.
Some
in
of
season.
Beezaura's bread.
Yes, oh.
Look, the problem is that we can't work effectively as a team if he's keeping secrets. Do you understand?
I agree, but
No. Look, if he's not willing to collaborate, then I'm not interested in helping.
if I get Erland to collaborate, will both of you agree at some kind of, a peace, please?
I would love to see you try. If he's interested in collaborating, then I'd be shocked.
Well, let me see what I can do, because it's important to me that we all get along, and that's it.
Now you've gotten to the point where, are you planning on breaking off?
Yeah.
You've gotten to that point,
Yeah.
definitely. To break
All right,
off
well,
towards
you guys be safe. I'll wait for you at the inn.
Yes.
He was thinking about the blueberries.
He's got a whole conversation with himself.
In season. It's unseasonable.
Bursting with flavor.
I hate all of you.
Any other words? Is
Can
just going to park here in a second.
I want to kind of walk up towards.
She's
her.
gone already. She's done.
Unless somebody says something, yeah.
Yeah,
She's
unless
breaking
you
off.
got me.
Yeah. She's headed over off to your right a little
I
bit.
kind of want to stop her real quick.
You can.
Okay.
People will
Orla,
see you stopping her.
That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
real quick. I know you want to get to Tuktu too, eventually.
Navikapura.
Then never mind.
What's in Tuktu that you want to go to?
Never mind.
I want to go to Tuktu.
I thought she did. I forgot. Okay, never mind.
Halfling, what's in Tuktu?
I said Orba.
Yeah, but you were inferring in a way that you also wanted to go to Tuktu. So, what's in Tuktu? I know why she wants to go to Tuktu.
Yannick had told me about a woman who knows about potions, and I thought that she might like her.
Tiefling?
How would I know? She
sorry,
hasn't
I
told
got
me about
the-
the potions yet.
I got the destination wrong.
That's okay.
That's all.
Yeah.
So you're not coming with us to the tackle shack then?
No, I think I have to meet Jillian.
Alright.
You know where we'll be,
Yeah.
and we have the right.
Please be careful.
If you can meet her in the next hour and be back at the inn. then
That's
maybe.
true. Yeah, maybe if I'm speedy. Okay.
Short rest is 1 hour.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
I branch off.
You guys start to head back towards the lakeside. And we'll move and follow Orba
Oh god. I'm not ready for this.
over to the wet dock.
Conversation to be had. I love when the music changes.
Stumble
And as is
across
customary
warm
in the
bodies.
sort of later hours of the day, the wet dock's well occupied. And for those who cannot find seats, leaning against walls or cradling plates as they wander is a common sight. You see a number of people sort of laughing, leaning, eating. You scan the crowd. You don't see her outside or anyone that you recognize.
Okay.
Do you go in?
Yeah, I like look into a glass window and like straighten my hair and make sure that I look nice. And I go ahead in.
And you open it up. And again, there's a line running around sort of the exterior of the room. And you see a board, and the board has been updated today. Did you come in here? Yes?
I did, but I didn't order anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the board, it has a rabbit stew, it has toad tongue and beans.
Oh!
It has catfish, dates, cheese, walnut bread.
Cheese?
Cabbage, yes, cheese. Coffee, blueberry pie.
Yes.
It's in season. Yep. It's really in season. And you sort of scan the interior, and you lock eyes with Jillian, who is watching you, and she politely waits with her fingers interlaced.
Oh my god.
God.
And her armor's been cleaned up considerably since you last saw her. Looks like she's sort of got these reinforced leather adornments with what looks to be a new set of studded bracers down both of her wrists. And a thin headband is keeping her hair out of her face. And as you approach, even though all the seats are occupied, she looks across the table and she nods to the person across from her, who nods back and gets up
Same.
and heads out. And you see, you're still probably 20 feet away from her, but she...
Orba like points to the sign and is like,
And she points at the table. She's got food in front of her in 2 spots.
I'll go ahead and join her.
And you sit. And in front of you is a nice bowl of rabbit stew. And there's a cup of coffee.
Oh, wow.
And a hunk of bread. Both in both spots. It looks like Jillian's had a couple pieces of her own. Orba, you approach me with your trademark trepidation. How have you found the Lakeside Inn, and more importantly, the city of Momo?
Well, it's been an exciting couple of days. How about yourself?
All right.
You seem well rested.
I am. Significantly better than when I was in that cage.
I would hope so.
Please, have a seat.
That's it.
Things do move quickly in the city, don't they?
Yes, I'm not really used to it. It's quite exciting.
When we arrived, it felt as though leaving for the Shaki Mountains was a thing of the distant future. And now 2 days have passed in the blink of an eye.
Yes, do you see the Shaki Mountains coming closer then?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Before we get down to business, why don't you fill me in on what the group's been up to? Or perhaps just what you've been up to if you all went your separate ways. I had a drink with Safira the other night, and I think I caught the tail end of Erland chasing an orphan through the streets. But other than that, there hasn't been a lot of overlap on my end.
Interesting. That is news to me. Yes, I haven't seen much of anybody really. I think we've all gone our separate ways.
Make a deception check.
11.
She doesn't say anything.
We've done some shopping together. I'm still trying to quell an argument between Safira and Erland. I think I'm making progress. I'm not making any progress, really, though. But, yeah, I don't know. What would you like to know?
Fairly quiet then.
No, we helped Yannick at the cemetery. There's been some undead problems. It actually might be linked to Mike and him stuff.
It's pretty loud in here.
Okay.
You don't have to consider it.
Okay.
Really.
It might be linked to some of the Mike and it situations that we've seen propping up in the Omasu Festival as well as on Chupa.
And did you happen upon a chance to speak with Skits, the director of reserves?
Yes, I actually just left the reserves now. The group is actually investigating, again, like kind of quietly and aware of her surroundings. There was a murder of a woman named Marissa down south outside of the city, not to be confused with the missing Yvonne who was last seen north near the entrance of the city. So they're investigating the Marissa one.
Does that seem like a good use of time at this particular moment?
What else would they be doing?
Preparing.
For the scouting mission?
Mm-hmm.
What should we be doing?
I hope that your compensation has given you a little room to operate. I'm aware that the remainder is still owed. And she takes out a little thing, a little satchel that looks like it's heavy, sort of has a sort of heavy pouch at the bottom. And she kind of puts it on the table. Inside this pouch is 300 gold pieces, thus settling the debt.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a significant chunk of Alexandrite, valued at somewhere between 300 and 500 pieces of gold. Because unlike Beezaura, I don't know what I have to offer you besides money. You can take this and walk away, and I will never feel anything but gratitude and respect for everything you've done.
Orba makes no move to take it.
All right. And she slides it back to her, puts it back into her coat. Let's start with this. Not what you want in return, which we'll get to later, but why this mission? There are other ways to get favors, travel, protection, whatever you're looking for, and by now you've seen the level of risk that we're dealing with. This is not a piss somebody off and watch your back kind of mission. This is a permanent stain, better not know you're involved or you'll be looking over your shoulder for the rest of your life kind of mission. So, what is it?
Have you been to the Crown? Oh, where's the place where he gets the bounties? I'm sorry.
Broken Crown Station. Yeah.
Okay. Have you by any chance visited the Broken Crown Station?
I usually stop by when I'm in the city.
Do you ask about bounties?
And she pauses. I do.
Orba reaches into her bag and she puts something on her finger, quickly reaches up to take a drink of something with that hand, and then puts her hand back into the bag and takes it off.
Ah. See, I would have pegged you as a ceramic elephant kind of girl. Seems I was wrong. So, again, what can I do for you?
I don't think it... I think it's fairly obvious that I have some kind of empathy for the Myconids. Being trapped in a place that you did certainly not volunteer yourself for.
And
also, these are the only people I've ever met that have provided me any kind of protection or affection. And I wouldn't mind staying with them.
For 1,000 gold, you could buy quite a bit of friendship and affection.
You've picked some pretty spectacular people to join you on this mission.
Perhaps. I think I've made quite a bit of progress with Kelcetra's help in deciphering what the map means and how we can use it to our advantage. I'm not going to get into all of the details because I'm not terribly fond of repeating myself, but I will say that it has become more and more obvious that it wouldn't hurt to have a bit of additional magical assistance, provided that you have the necessary tools. We obviously have reason to believe that this camp in the mountains may be operating on another level. Black Lion shamans, additional security measures, any number of nasty surprises that I've not encountered in the past. So, what can you do?
Well, I've already done it quite a bit, but I'm really good at disguising myself.
What about others?
I am not skilled enough quite yet, but give me time, I'm still studying.
Languages?
I can comprehend all languages.
Magic? Detecting it?
I can detect magic.
Magical paralysis?
I do not have such a thing. I believe Graven does.
I know he does.
Of course you do.
Invisibility?
Again, not something that I am well versed in.
Disarming magical locks?
But I can, I know we're not going to be in combat, but I'm also quite skilled at fighting. I can restrain people, and oh god.
The worst quiz
I can
ever.
also charm people, and you missed me showing off my Featherfall spell when we fell down into the cavern with the troll giant.
I think I caught the tail end of it as we poked our heads down the hole.
It is in the mountains. Lots of
Yes.
falling.
You're young, but somewhat better than an amateur, so there's that.
Well, I credit my home for that.
She looks at you for a second.
We're leaving in the morning. I've gathered a cache of supplies. I have all of the necessary things. We're going to be going on horseback. No carriage. Too risky, too immobile. If there's anything that anyone needs, any special requests, tell them that they can leave a message with Prescott at the inn. And I'll come by late at night, see if I can't acquire it by the morning. I plan on leaving around 10 or 11 a.m., preferably on the earlier side. I guess I'll see you there.
10 or 11 a.m. I'll be there at 9.
I'm sure you will be.
Where am I meeting?
I'll come by the inn and pick you up. One more thing. I want the ring.
No.
Then I won't be seeing you at 9 a.m.
Why do you want it?
Orba, in my line of business, having someone along with you who bails halfway through is far worse than never having them to begin with. You are a significant flight risk. I don't know who's looking for you. I need some reason to bind you to me.
I can't leave it with Graven or with Erland. Safira. With all due respect, Jillian, I have this item for a reason, and I'm not willing to part with it.
Right. Erland, then.
Alright. Would you prefer I tell him that he is guarding this ring, or you?
You can give it to him.
Okay.
But be prepared for me to make sure that he has it in his possession.
You can ask Erland, I'm not a sneaky person. I don't like lying, so...
I'm going to bring by a friend of mine, who also has some magical expertise, and I'm going to bind the ring to him. A finger or a toe.
What does that mean? Would I know what that means?
She's going to magically bind it to him so you can't take it off.
To Erland.
Yes. I can't have him handing it back to you and you running off. More incentive to keep Erland alive, I would think.
I already have enough incentive to do that, but okay.
That's what everyone says until they're facing death.
If Erland gives his permission, I will allow it.
Alright.
You drive a hard bargain, Jillian.
I drive the only bargain I have.
Well, Orba, like, having not touched any of her food, kind of like gets up out of her chair and... Oh.
She motions. You sit. I leave. And she takes a sip of her mug. She places it down on the table. Just enjoy the meal and leave at your leisure.
Jillian, thank you. I won't let you down.
I'm sure you won't, but don't thank me yet. You don't know where we're headed. And she gets up. She starts to move.
Okay. Orba waits until she's like out of the inn.
She exits out the door.
She just kind of like releases herself and just takes a second and just breathes and then sees bread and just starts dipping it in the stew and just like eats her feelings for a second.
And with Orba stuffing her face, that's a good ending for the evening.
Oh my god!
Yeah, you guys.
Oh no!
So much happened.
What
With
have I done?
the imminent
Oh, fucking hell.
departure from Mukmu.
Done jack shit
I
to
know,
get
we
ready.
know.
Like, how are we supposed to? What was I
Done
don't
jack
know.
shit.
We did we even ask?
I think she was hoping you'd like
Like
buy
rest
some weapons,
and like buy
rest.
weapons and like yeah, get
Stretching
supplies.
foam?
Like I don't know.
here.
But like, yes.
Or just
No,
like
like-
not do the shit you've been doing.
Yeah.
Just like fucking
Yeah.
nonsense, all the nonsense.
This is
of
all
the-
gonna come
Maybe do
in
some
handy.
research on like how
ooh,
to
magical
date.
item, new weapon, different shield. Like here we are, just fucking this shit.
I got a
up.
kitchen knife.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
You can show her that.
Hey, I can be a wolf.
I am
you
prepared.
guys.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I have a steak knife.
I blacked out for an hour.
And fought my friends in a haze.
Like truly, that you keep saying I had a frustrating day, and I keep wanting to be like, man, you had more than a frustrating day. It was a.
You
it was
fought us
exceptional.
in your sleep.
Well, you see what happens when I talk straight about it.
Holy shit.
He almost died.
Anyway,
Thank you guys all for
Oh,
joining
I
us
didn't
so
ask
much.
Jillian your question.
I know. I know. Oh, I know.
Orba was a little distressed.
I know.
Didn't ask.
Oh my
I'll
goodness.
send her a note. It's fine.
You're gonna see her in the morning. It's your
That's
fine.
so funny.
Oh man.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
Everybody always forgets to do the things you ask
I
them
know.
to do.
That's accurate.
Oh, Graven knows. He's like, didn't do that thing.
That's one more strike
Oh,
for you.
Thank you guys so much for joining.
Yes.
Thank
I have
you.
no idea if anyone's at PAX or enjoying PAX. Enjoy it if you're there. It sounds like
Lord
an awesome
Gassimba
time.
said that he just got back from it.
Oh, that's awesome. I hope you had a great time.
Yeah, I was asking him if he did the Divinity 2 board game. He said he didn't see much of it, but I really want to go look at it.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for watching.
Come back next
Thanks
week.
so much for
We'll be
the
back
hand
next
concerns.
Next week.
Oh, and then there's gonna be a parade.
Yep,
They
there's a
look
break
like
after that.
It's gonna be like a holiday break and then the scouting.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god.
It's not gonna be a hot
And with that realization washing over, have
Oh no.
Good night.
a good night, guys. Thanks so much.